You want to start World Collide before we get into all of this?
You son of a bitch.
Hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with that drop kick, Marty Jannetty.
Let me do this again.
No, it's live, pal.
It's live, pal. You're damn right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Welcome.
children of all ages, welcome into the latest edition of Tag Wrestle Corner here on the date of September 11th. I want to give props and shout out to all those who fell on that day 21 years ago. That is not time for that music. That is so inappropriate right now. Your laugh is inappropriate. Shut up. Moment of silence, bro. Seriously. This is not a Nancy Argentino moment. Don't laugh at that.
You can't say me say Nancy Argentino, I'm gonna laugh. Like, come on, man.
You know what I mean? That just means let's be respectful for the moment. Anyway, so the year of our Lord 2022. I'm one half of your host. I'm Rob.
I'm playing.
Let's get into it. We have had a very eventful week in professional wrestling. Been a great wrestling week as far as like content. It's also been a shit show on many levels. So let's start with Worlds Collide.
Like a soap opera.
We're going to start the pay-per-views because we ended with a pay-per-view last week and there was a lot of pay-per-views last weekend. So we're going to pick up from where we left off technically by finishing off last week and then going to chronological order as we do here on the show. So that means we're starting with pay-per-views. We're going to continue with Worlds Collide before we get into All Out.
Yeah, let me find my Worlds Collide. I thought I had it for me. Hold on. I had it for me.
I got to go through
There it is.
my notes here in order while you doing that.
I got it.
I have so much of this.
All right. Worlds Collide. When Worlds Collide? NXT versus NXT UK. Of course, we all know NXT UK is no more. They about to become NXT Europe in 2023. Let's start it off with the North American title match between Ricochet and Carmelo Hayes. First of all, shout out to Carmelo Hayes' entrance. You know, he's like a basketball guy. So his entrance was like jerseys of like everybody that he beaten while he was the champion. And then Ricochet was like at the front of the entrance. I like also too Ricochet had 8 on it. I don't know if that's like a Kobe tribute or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, we go straight into it. Filling out process between both men. They had a nice like sequence for like first like 3 minutes where they were just going back and forth, matching move to move. Show a little show of respect, but you know, like face heel way. So like Hayes had to do it in kind of like a dick way. So he's like talking shit, like, but they still showing respect. Ricochet finally started off with a quick drop kick. Hayes got to regroup, get a pep talking trick. Then he called a distraction, which leads to Hayes getting a shot in the back of the head. Now Hayes is taking over a couple shots of Ricochet. He's starting to feel confident, start doing like little basketball like fadeaway, everything like that. Ricochet flips out, try to come back, but he walks into a nice super kick. Then he eats a springboard clothesline. Then a quick stump. They go back up. Nice spot. They both like try like springboard crossbodies, but like ran into each other. They did like at the exact same time. Like, so you got a double down. Ricochet, they have a slug out. Ricochet kicks him in the head. Then Hayes gets another kick in. Recoil by Ricochet, but that gets broken up because Trick Williams basically comes in there and he like put Hayes' foot on the rope, back up, suplex. Top rope, Ricochet, who basically does a top rope suplex, which was crazy. It's like, yeah, Ricochet kind of like bought out like some moves. Then he loads up, he get ready to do something else. It calls a distraction again by Hayes, which means he does the shooting star press. He gets a little delayed. Hits the shooting star press, but Hayes reverses into a small package, retains the title. Good match. Great ending. Post-match, Hayes celebrates, and then he asks Ricochet's name to the list of victims. Next, Roderick Strong gets attacked in the parking lot. Remember we talked about this last week. He's like was injured, so he got taken out in the ambulance. which leads into our tag match. This is the Unification Tag Team Championship between the NXT and NXT UK. NXT Tag Team Championship are Brooks and Jensen. The NXT UK champions are no, my fault. The NXT champions are no. You know what? I'm drawing blanks on who the champions were. No. I was right. The Creed brothers. Creed brothers are NXT UK champions. That's what I'm thinking. Like the UK team is from UK. I forgot. So the NXT UK champions are Jensen and Josh Briggs. The NXT champions are the Creed brothers. This is an elimination match, so you know how that goes. Once your partner gets eliminated, your team is out. Gotta decide. Not side piece, that sounds kind of what's the name. All the managers, I guess, are here. Fallon Haley is out there with Jensen and Briggs. Joe Coffey is out there with Gallus. Lash Legend, for some weird reason, is out there with pretty deadly. This match starts off with, and Damon Kemp is out there with the Creed brothers. This match starts off instantly. The women start brawling. Like Lash and Lay, they're brawling. The bell don't even start yet. Everybody's brawling. Once the bell finally hits, it starts off with Creed and Josh Briggs. Jensen comes in for a nice atomic drop big boot combo. Prince tags herself in and try to steal the cover because that's what they do. Julius basically ain't happy about that. Now we get him versus Brutus. We get power on power. The women brawl again inside. This is causing a whole bunch of chaos. Jensen gets backdropped on the Pretty Deadly. Then Wolfgang superplex Brutus into a power slam jump kick combo to the head. Jensen's eliminated at 4 minutes. So NXT UK champions are the first ones eliminated. Eliminated. We keep it going up. We got more Gallus and Pretty Deadly now with Wilson trying to roll up on the 2. Martin knocks him down for my fault. Mark knocks Wilson down for a double down. Bruce gets a tag. Doomsday Creed bomb sets up the sliding lariat. Gallus is eliminated to 8-minute 39 mark, so it comes down to Creed versus Pretty Deadly. And this is where it starts to get good. Like literally, this where. So, you remember I told you last week these two like they just like kept brawling. They start off brawling the match. They are brawling on their way to the back. Prince and Brutus are slugging it out. They're going back and forth. Wilson comes in with some knees. They finally get Brutus down. DDT on Brutus again. Julius comes in. He's cleaning house. He's beating the shit out of everybody. Briggs and Jensen and Gallus are brawling back to the ring again. Ref bump. The ref gets like crushed in the midst of this brawl. So Prince tries to grab a chair. He winds up with the chair. Damon Kim comes in with a nice ass spear. Took him out. Started getting pumped. Grabbed the chair. Then cracked Julius Creed in the back with the chair. Eventually turned on the Creed brothers. Irish curse. He has an Irish curse on Julius. Then Prince gets the win. So, y'all boys are the undisputed NXT champions.
Yeah, boy.
And we'll get into why Damon Kemp turned on we go to NXT. Video on Blair Davenport. Next, the B- Mafia movie again. Tony D'Angelo and Stacks. They're catering, eating. I don't know what I want to say, like or something. They trying.
Your boys.
Nah, they're not. They said they're trying to get somebody to replace Legado del Fantasma. Cameron Grimes is walking in. Said, word on the street is I hear you need some new friends. I thought about this. He said, make me an offer. Grimes like, no, I'm good. Good. Walks away. Next we get our triple threat title match between Mandy Rose, Meiko Sanomura, and Blair Davenport. Mandy Rose was the only one that really got like an entrance, but it kind of was like an entrance. So she pulls up in a nice ass car. I don't remember what car was driving, but she come out down in all USA colors. basically the first like 3 minutes of the match is them double team and Satomura basically they get outside, Rose posed in her USA gear. Davenport goes after her. They start talking shit back and forth. Excuse me. Satomura basically takes them both outside, kicks away at them. She's being a shot of Mandy now. Takes her back inside, hits her with the boot to the face. Faith goes for a pin, but Davenport break that up. Then Rose catches Davenport. Satomura come in with double clothesline on both of them in the corner. You got a double suplex attempt, but it's blocked. Then Satomura hit a couple of the Satomura specials. Takes Rose down. Davenport with a double stomp. Break that up. Rose is in the corner. She's obviously the favorite here. They're chanting USA now. Drop kick on Satomura, but she comes right out of nowhere with the Scorpion Rising. Rose with a double knees. Pins Davenport, unifies the title. So Mandy Rose walks out as the NXT UK Women and NXT Women's Champion, which we kind of knew, like, that probably was the one you can obviously say, like, you knew that probably was going to happen, like, straight in. But even though Satomura had a bomb-ass match Tuesday.
So Satomura lost?
Yeah, Mandy Rose unified the titles. And she's approaching Charlotte Flair's record for reign with, like, she's at 313 now. Charlotte's with 331, so she got like what?
2 weeks.
3 more weeks, I think, to pass her. But they also said like the third longest in NXT history. Like,
3 weeks.
We still get Alba Fire. She said she's ready for Last Legend. After and Nathan Frazier get ready for their 2 out of 3 fall, their best 3 out of series match on NXT. Our Women's Tag Team Championship match. Doudrop and Nikki ASH come out here with her leather jacket on. You roll your eyes when I'm saying Nikki ASH. By the way, Doudrop got a nice pop, you know, from the crowd. Kaden Carter and Katana Chant. This match, I'm gonna put it like this: Kaden Carter and Katana Chant basically was getting dog walked by Doudrop. It was like Doudrop was going crazy. They get off on Nikki ASA, which is cool. She tagged in Doudrop. Doudrop is just rad dogging both of them. She hitting them with body drops. She hitting them with like clothesline. Poor Katana Chance. It's not fair when she gets in the ring with her. She only about like $120. 20. Anyway, we gonna get to the end of this match. We have a nice Samoa drop neck combo. They hit on Carter. She makes the save. Now this is what I like. Doudrop is up top. She about to do I think she's about to do like a Scott Hall special. Fall away slam.
Mm-hmm.
Top rope. But out comes Toxic Attraction for the distraction. Now this get Nikki ASH distraction. She goes out here and beats the shit out of both of them, but then it gets reversed, and then all of a sudden she eats the net breaker for a 50 combo and Doudrop eats the pin, so Katana Chance and Kane Carter still wins. And I like the way they did the story. Basically, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They feel like, look, y'all can't come over here and take our title shots when we ain't even get our rematch against them yet. But they had a busy week, Toxic Attraction did, though. Anyway, this was fun. So now, okay. No Spam Gacy on this event, but we still had Diaz, though. Still had Zach Gibson. I'm calling them Zach Gibson and James Drake. I'm not calling them their names, okay? Like, no, I can't call them that. No.
Why not?
No. They over here got buttons with smiley faces on, trying to convince people to join them. So Grayson Waller walks up. He don't want their button. And then he gets an interview. Now, this interview is funny. And he asked about, he like, yeah. Like, how you feel about your ass? He like, yeah. He like, I got a call from my mom. Like, you know, she told me that I talked about that man's family. She yelled at me for the way I acted. She said she said she yelled at me for poking him in his eye and said that I'm disgracing the Waller name. He is like, I want to apologize to my mom, who can kiss my ass. I am the Waller name. Y'all are nothing about me. I went straight douche mode. So he like, I don't regret nothing. Then we get to our main event. By the way, Tyler Bates' entrance to this was awesome. because it's like he's walking and you see every like NXT UK champion like in the midst of their glory. You got Pete Dunne, you got Gunter, you got Eagle Dragunov, you got all them, and he's looking at all of them. Then the last shot is him when he wins the title. So we get to our unification match. Winner takes all. Fans are obviously behind Tyler Bate, of course. Breaker starts it off early. Tyler trying to end it now with the Tyler Driver 97. 7. Couple nip ups, stare down, respect, stare down, shake their head, look at each other. Bate picks up the pace, and then basically shoves him into the corner. Like, people forget Tyler Bate's a little dude, but he got strength up. Like, he's a strong little motherfucker. The leg vertical suplex, my fault.
You good, brother?
Standing moonsault for a 2. Yes, he did something vertical. It's standing moonsault. I give him props for that. I mean, I was talking about all he do is power moves. I mean, it wasn't top rope, but hell, it was a standing moonsault. So he did something athletic or flippy, or Jim Cornette say flippy shit, I guess. Anyway, Breaker basically drawn back to the outside, but Bate suplexes him again. Shooting star press by Bate for 2. Now he's starting to get a little bit frustrated. Breaker gets a shot of his own. Does a Steiner Bulldog, shout out to Rick Steiner. Suplex, power bomb for 2 on Bate, and they have a spot where they find each other, putting each other from the mat. Bop and bang gets countered to a Fujiwara armbar, which Bate counters that into the airplane spin for a 2 count. Rebound lariat for 2. Bate gets the Tyler Driver 97 off, but it's for a 2 count. Breaker with the Gorilla Press power slam, he gets a 2 count. Breaker goes to the top rope, but he gets cut off with a spear. Boot to the face, the bop and bang again. Tyler Driver 97 gets blocked again. Bate tries to rebound lariat, only for Breaker to basically get him down with a spear. Breaker is the unified championship. Show respect. He basically took the belt and then he basically like put him like on Braun's shoulders and then basically like raised his arm up, gave him this kind of respect. So that was the end of When Worlds Collide. I think good show. I mean, I think the only shocker there was that Pretty Deadly won the tag team championship. I think all the other matches kind of went how you expected them to go. But overall though, good show. NXT UK didn't go out like on a high note like I thought they would, but I mean, they went out on a shield basically, so like they ain't put up no shitty efforts. So that's the end of When Worlds Collide. And we get into our other pay-per-view.
Man.
Which we get into, yeah. Get ready for a good chunk of the show, people.
All right. Let's get into this. So craziness over in AEW, man. All right, let's start off with the pay-per-view of All Out, which was actually a really good pay-per-view. Not as good as last year's All Out, because that was an all-timer with all the introductions of people as far as Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson coming out and stuff like that. Go ahead.
Like when I watch pay-per-views, I also watch them, and I watch like Twitter, I follow like the Twitter reaction too, and I watch pay-per-views so I can get like people's reaction and stuff, and some stuff that was people saying about the pay-per-views. I was like, okay. Me personally, I agree with you. It wasn't better than last year's.
I thought it was a good show though, but I feel like the media scrum afterwards, which we're gonna get to, overshadowed it. Which is apropos.
Some of the main stuff that a lot of people were saying was, I'll wait till you.
Some people said it was a little bloated, like it was too long. Some matches didn't need to be on there, I felt like.
Angles. I mean, definitely was a lot of people's gripe with that, like it was too long. Which, I mean, people got to realize something. People say, oh, well, it's a 4-hour show, but you still got the kickoff show, too, though.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, though. They only put a pay-per-view on every 3 months.
That, too, yeah.
Their in-between shows are basically super dynamites. They don't pull one on, like, every month. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, people got to take that into account, too.
Yeah.
But we have another one, and we'll start with the 0 hour, as you were saying. And here in the 0 hour, we have a AAA mixed tag team titles match between Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello versus Ruby Soho and Ortiz. In this match, Ruby Soho did break her nose. I have a story about that we'll get to in a little bit. First, let's talk about the match. Went about 6 minutes before we got to the finish. Sammy and Ty are defending here. They get jumped during their entrance at the red carpet of the show, literally the red carpet at the beginning show. Soho and Ortiz chase them down with a golf cart, beat them up in the ring where we officially start the match. Sammy and Ty are in street clothes. I have no idea what they thought street clothes were, but this was their street clothes. Sammy got kicked in the face to start, and he got busted open very early, and managed to take a shot of his own. Ty comes in, kisses down Solo on the cheek before putting Solo on the top. The guys come in. Sammy launches Ty at Ortiz for a Canadian Destroyer. A Swanton gets Sammy too, but Soho missile drop kicks Mello and lands on Sammy in the process. Q and a J for a sailed save attempt, leaving Soho to hit a no future. Ortiz to hit a clothesline for a near falls. Back up, Mello catches Soho on the top for a superplex until the guys on the floor to head back inside where Ty KO finishes off for a Solo to retain the titles after about 6 minutes. Rapid enough pace here, pretty decent match. This next match went really fast, faster than I expected, but I think that's because of what happened in the fall off from it. Next up, we have a show deity making an appearance. The man whose song we happen to grace our intro with happens to take part in this next match. A man by the name of Action Bronson. So this next 0 hour match was the FTW World Title match between Hook taking on Cool Hand Ange of the JAS. Hook defending. Matt Menard was also here with Parker. Hook takes him down to start, but gets poked in the eye on Parker to send him throat first into the ropes. Parker's like, I'm exposing Hook. That earns him a shot to the face as Menard grabs the foot for a distraction. Granted, it doesn't really matter as Hook throws him down and explodes a suplex. Another suplex drops Parker again, slaps on the red run and makes him tap after 3 minutes and 30 seconds. He didn't even resist. Like, he didn't try to go for the ropes. He just tapped, pretty much. After the match, Parker ran Coke Man. Let me taste it. Yeah. He ran in the ring. They started jumping Hook, which led to Action Bronson coming from out of the crowd to come in and make the save. He obviously performs Hook's theme music as well as our show opener music. So shout out to him. So this may continue later. Reason why I say that there's a promo that connected to this that comes up on Dynamite later this week. We'll get to that when we get there. Then we have our 0 hour semi-main, which was All Atlantic title match between Kip Sabian and Pac. This one coming out of, now I won't say necessarily out of nowhere. It had a little bit of build. It just came out of nowhere because of all the matches on this card, whether it be on the main card or this pre-show 0 hour. This one probably had the least amount of build, but it still was a pretty decent match for what it was. They gave him 10 minutes. Sabian, without the box, and said came in challenging him, and it was pretty decent. No Penelope with him, but he was with her on Dynamite later this week, because she had a match this week, and he came out with the box in his head. What I liked about this when he came out, he acted like the box was talking to him, like he's kind of possessed by it, which I found interesting. But it didn't matter when it came down to the match. Pac starts fast and kicks away Sabian, but it's too early for the Black Arrow. Sabian gets shoved off the top and right back with a springboard kick to the head. That's enough to knock Pac to the outside, saying with springboard moonsault to drop him again. Pac is fine, gets up, hits a suplex on the floor, then heads back in for some kicks to the guy, to his head without the box on it. Pop up knee to the head, sends a dragon suplex for 2 on Pac, but he snaps off a German suplex for the double knockdown. Black Arrow is loaded up again, but Sabian rolls out before it could be launched. Pac chokes him down again, then stomps away, setting up the Black Arrow once again to get the pin at the 10 minutes mark. Post match, Pac said he needs a new challenger. Out steps up Orange Cassidy. Pac yells no. He's calls him a joke. I can't wait to see that match again, because the last time they wrestled, it was hilarious. That was, oh my, what was that match? That thing of 2019? I can't remember which show, but it was back in 2019. They had that one-on-one. It was pretty dope. Then we have our main event of 0 hour. Tomohiro Ishii of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Chaos, to be exact. Taking on Eddie Kingston. And I guess the best Americanized version of a Kings Road match from Japan. This match went 13 minutes, and they beat the living shit out of each other. I would say not as bad as Gunther and Sheamus went at each other the night before, but I give it a second tier right behind it. They beat the shit out of each other. This is one of those bust the capillaries on your chest, chop off matches. Because they literally chopped the shit out of each other the entire fucking match for the most part. This is a rematch from a New Japan match from earlier this year with Ishii winning that one. They chop it out to no avail. Start with Ishii getting the better of things. Kingston drops him with a hard clothesline. Back up, Ishii unloads on him in the corner. Kingston being knocked down for a change. Kingston can't hit a belly to back suplex, so Ishii hits a vertical suplex, but they both get banged up. Ishii misses a charge to the corner. Kingston, as you guessed, it hits more chops. A DDT plants Ishii, and a sliding forearm gets Kingston too. Ishii gets up and is more serious, so he stands where Kingston can chop him again. A kick to the back of the head frustrates Kingston for a change, so they slap it out this time. And once they weren't pulling any slaps, so this is awesome. They're just beating the shit out of each other. Kingston hurts his shoulder on a suplex attempt on Ishii, and who's back up with the German suplex of his own. One heck of a clothesline staggers, but does not drop Kingston, so they both hit each other for a double knockdown again. Both get back up. Kingston hits a hard lariat for two before Ishii runs at him and runs him over for the same. Ishii's brainbuster is blocked. Kingston hits a spinning back fist for a very near fall. Hits another spinning back fist, gets shrugged off before he hits a Northern Lights bomb for the pin and victory by Eddie Kingston. So now they're tied 1-1. And we'll maybe see them match up for the trilogy match later down the line, possibly. And then that takes us into our main card. Starting off with the Casino Ladder match. This was a very good match that I don't want to say halfway through, because the match went about 14 minutes, but at about the 10-minute mark, 10 to 12 minute mark, everything changed in the match. So everything I'm going to say here that's raw eventually doesn't mean shit. But I gotta be honest with you on it and talk about it. In my opinion, I thought it was it was a very good Casino Ladder match. They gave you high spots, but like where was the downfall of it is that nobody that was in the match outside of the Joker meant anything to the match once what happened at the end of the match, and you'll understand what I mean in a second when I talk about it. But let's start off with this one. Ray Phoenix and Wheeler Yuta start things off with Phoenix right where they were with the first ladder. He leans over a barricade. It takes so long, so Yuta takes him down, then goes up. Roosh is in at number 3, shoves both of them down to take over. Andrade comes in, and this is not going well for everyone not named Roosh. A ladder is set up in the middle of the ring, hit a super sunset bomb to drop Martin hard onto the bridge ladder. Claudio Castagnoli comes in next at number 4, pushes the double ladder down with Andrade on it to show like a test of strength. As he crashes to the floor, Dante Martin's in at number 5. He has a ladder fall on him as he gets in the ring. Martin kicks away at Castagnoli before shoving off from one ladder to another. Penta is in at number 6. It's a Canadian Destroyer on Martin on the rampway, and another one drops Andrade into a bridge ladder. Phoenix frog splashes Roosh through a table at ringside, and then this is where everything in the match changes and it doesn't matter anymore. I have a bunch of masked men that come out to ringside and wreck everyone and everything. Start knocking ladders over and everything. One of the masked men go up and get the ladder. They pull off their mask. It is Stokely Hathaway. Everybody else pulls off their mask, and it's the rest of his crew. W. Morrissey, the Guns, Lee Moriarty, and Ethan Page. So then as they do that, he holds the chip, and then his music starts to play, and it's let me make sure I get this right. It was the Rolling Stones, and I can't remember the name of the song.
I think Tony Khan budget for this pay-per-view went more to Rolling Stones. He had so many damn Rolling Stones.
He said, please introduce the song, let me introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and change or something like that. I probably got the lyrics wrong. But that's how the song starts. So it makes sense when the guy comes out with the mask on. And he's supposed to be like a devil mask because he has horns and everything. And he takes the chip from Stokely. And he acts like he's going to dismask, but he doesn't. But I just knew it was a white guy because you could see his wrist. So I'm like, all right, we'll see what it is. And they kind of just walk off. And that's the end of the match at about 14-minute mark. So the Joker wins this one. They recap the Trios tournament because that's the next match up at the main event of the Trios title match. The Elite taking on Hangman Page in the Dark Order. Don Callis is on Commentary, Reynolds and Matt Jackson start things off. Neither gets anywhere of note. That means a lot of glaring as we recap the issue between Page and the Elite over the years. Matt gets knocked down by Silver, and then his back seems to get messed up, which is enough for Page to call off the Dark Order. It's off to Omega versus Page for a second. The fans love this. They get locked. That's one of the things about this part is that there were so many matches that certain matches didn't get the level I think they should have because the fans were just tired out from what they're already seeing in the night. Not that they didn't appreciate it. For example, the ladies match, they were dead. But the ladies put in a good match. It wasn't their fault, and they didn't have a bad match. And that's why they weren't getting the reaction. I think they were just tired from all that was going on. Hence, a big loaded card. Anyway, I continue. They lock up and go into the Dark Order's corner where Silver comes in. Much to some booing. Omega's recent repaired shoulder gets cranked up, but Page doesn't like that either. A big boot and follow away slam connect on Page, but his springboard is super kicked out of the air. Bucks start taking turns on Page before Omega tells him that you can't escape. He gets in, Page ends up slipping out, and Silver gets back in. Everything breaks down. Dark Order hits a suicide dive brainbuster combination on Nick on the floor, giving us a rare Alex Reynolds chant. Matt suplexed both of them, gets hurt and is back again. Omega gets caught in the corner for running Lariat, German suplex into a jackknife roll up on Reynolds for 2. The Bucks are back in with super kicks and a V trigger that sends Silver to the outside. Omega back in, hits a running flip dive in the corner. Silver back in with the backstabber. Page to the moonsault on the Nick onto the floor. The pendulum bomb gets 2. The Bucks get back in. They trade clotheslines for a 4-way super click that puts everybody down. That leads us Page for Omega again. And the ref actually need to get another ref in at this point because they actually gotten taken out. They had to tag another one in. Omega hit the V trigger and into a J driller for 2, but Page is able to catch him on the top. Super fall away slam and the cover for 2. And there's a buckshot lariat. Matt teases grabbing Page's leg. I like when he crossed him when Page won the world title, like he almost did then. Delays and he gets a buckshot on Nick. Nick gets a buckshot on Page that drops him. BT trigger gets 2 with Silver making a save. V trigger cuts him down. One wing angle is countered into a roll up, but to get Silver 2, buckshot Larry accidentally lands on the wrong person. It lands on Silver. Omega's still in the pin after that. About almost 20 minutes mark of this match. This is a really good match. One of the best things about it was at the end of the match, and this maybe was a precursor for things that were going to happen later on after the pay-per-view. Kenny Omega looks in the camera and is like, "Don't you dare fucking move." He said, "Yeah, see you fuckers in the back keep up with this." So I think he was talking obviously to Punk, I guess. Because maybe something happened prior to, but I mean, he had to be saying that shit for a reason. And next, it showed the dealings that have been going on recently with Jade Cargill and Athena and their build up to this match. This match, I thought Athena was going to pull off the upset here because she was kicking her ass at first, but Jade Cargill pulled out the victory here. She came in, painted green, looking like She-Hulk, and had the She-Hulk fit on. Athena starts fast with new wings she came out to the ring with. She hit the old face in less than a minute to start the match off, but the baddies pulled Athena out of the ring. The ref had to slow the count, though, because they didn't have it timed up quite correctly. But either way, baddies got a beating on the outside. Jay runs Athena over for 2. Back inside, the big toss sends Athena flying. She's back up with a springboard spinning cross body of her own for 2. Fans get behind Athena as she goes up. Kiera grabs her leg again. Another springboard. Is Punk kicked out of the mid-air. Hits the Jaded. Retains her title, 4 minutes, 25 seconds. Winner is Jade. FTR and Wardlow taking on Jay Lethal and the Charisma Vacuums, better known as the Motor City Machine Guns. There's a Charisma Vacuum in the room. There's a Charisma Vacuum in the room. Warning, Charisma Vacuum is in the ring. Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt are here. The later's wearing a shirt mocking Dax's daughter, saying fight like an 8-year-old brat. Harwood one up that, bringing out the actual little girl as she kind of throws her hands up in the air like a winning pose. Lethal and Wardlow start things off. Way too early for the powerbomb though. Wardlow and Sabian come in. Here comes in the Charisma Vacuum. Later slapping him in the face. The Motor City Machine Guns looked really good in the beginning of this match to the end of it going down to the end. Everything teased there before it breaks down. Harwood runs Sabian over again. Shelley gets back in. He controlled a lot of this match forward. the machine guns in this contest. Gets in, gets knocked out the apron. Has time to chase Dutt down the line, saving to get in, get the cheap shot. To steal it back inside. Hardwood chops his way out of trouble though. Wardlow comes in, cleans house, double suplex, lands on the guns. Hardwood comes back in and it's a chop on Lethal. Hardwood fights his way out of the corner, hands it off to Wheeler, picks up the pace. Sabin gets sent to the outside, leaving Shady to kick Wheeler's legs out. The villains take turns wrapping Wheeler's legs around the post, leaving Lethal to grab a figure four. With that broken up, Wheeler goes over to Wardlow for the tag, setting up another house cleaning. Everything breaks down. Satnam Singh punches Wardlow in the face for two, leaving Wardlow to be tied in the tree of woe for a series of baseball slide drop kicks. Lethal's back in for a double lethal injection on FTR. That's enough time for Wardlow to fight back up and start wrecking everyone, including 4 powerbomb symphony on Lethal to win the match at about 16 and 36 seconds. Post-match, Samoa Joe makes the return, running down, going after Sanjay Dutt and going after Satnam Singh. Q Harwood's daughter Finley to come out. She was awesome. Her face was so stone cold when she was looking at Sanjay Dutt like breaking. She looked like Drago. She broke his pencil. She broke his pencil. They wrecked him right quick, and then she puts one foot down on his chest to make the pin.
That was awesome.
Fight like a little girl. She did, and she won.
Yeah.
She wins. They recap. This one was a surprise. They recapped the feud between these two, Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. They both made their entrances, coming out. Starks charged straight at him to start the match. He gets powered down. Gets properly powered down without much trouble. Hobbs goes in to a slower power beating, and Starks realizes he might be in over his head. Neck crank goes in. Hobbs goes to work on a recently injured neck. Starks fights his way up. Starts to strike away in the corner, setting up a DDT for 2. Back up, Starks charges in, but gets spine busted to hell and loses suddenly after 5 minutes. I thought for this to be a feud match between the two, that would have a little longer, but I guess we're building up Powerhouse Hobbs. He gets the victory clean.
That was kind of a questioning decision.
Gets the victory clean.
He got low-key squash. He ain't really getting no offense in this match.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was surprised.
I understood, Hobbs was going to win anyway, in my opinion. I thought if Starks would have got more offense in on that, seeing that how long they known each other. You think he'd know, some of his strengths and, some of his tendencies. It was like he just got wrecked.
This next match was interesting for the fact that the fans were with. This was a babyface versus babyface match, but you wouldn't tell by the fans because they were all with the Acclaimed. And they did not like Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee simply because they were facing the Acclaimed. And they showed it throughout the match, so they had to play heel, you know what I'm saying? The Acclaimed coming out. The Acclaimed coming out with Billy Gunn. Bowens takes down Swerve to start the match. They start chatting, considering me daddy. They're super into the match for them. Caster goes to go power at Lee, but that doesn't go as good as you would expect. A middle rope hurricane works a little bit better as Lee is taken down. All 4 coming at once. Champ was sent to the outside. Time for another scissoring. They get sent down to Lee, taking over on Caster despite the fans yelling and letting Lee know that he can't scissor. Caster fights his way out the corner, hits a middle rope cutter to put Lee down. Bones is back in with a running neck breaker on Swerve, followed by a disc of forearm. I like the story that they told in this match. I'm gonna skip ahead a lot here because there was a lot going on. This match went 22 minutes. The story they told in this match was basically working Caster's knee, because as in the promo he said your injuries by your partner always fail you as a tag team. That's why you can't get anywhere moving forward, because his body fails him. So he started selling the knee a lot in the match, but he was trying to fight through it for the most part. But Swerve and Lee attacked the knee relentlessly, going after it. Eventually, though they were opposed by the fans, and they got all the best shot they had in the world from the Acclaimed, including some very close 2 counts. Eventually, a roll-up gets a very close 2 count on Lee. Bowens gets caught on Lee's shoulder. Swerve adds to stomp into the sit-out powerbomb for the retained victory after about 22 minutes. Swerve and Our Glory retain. But they're going to run this one back at Arthur Ashe coming up soon. So that's where you may see the Acclaim finally get their claim and get the belt. After the match, The fans hated it, but Lee and Billy Gunn scissored. The fans were not on that shit. Next up is the women's match. They get no love because I think they were just tired out, especially from that tag match before and everything going on. Jamie Hayter versus Britt Baker versus
make a match too long.
Jamie Hayter versus Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm. This is a really good match. They weren't in this match as much as they should have been.
They was more of a hater than anything.
They were surprising. You know, Chicago fans, they do what they want. That's what they say. They're in like bizarre world to say when you with them. Them or Toronto, they always say. This match got 14 minutes. They got a lot of love here for the vacant title. Rebel came out for DMD, obviously, but, you know, seeming like she was with Hayter also a little bit. But Hayter kind of just came out by herself, doing her own thing. And she did do her thing in this match. Had her chance to win, and her own girl snuck one on her, pulling the ref out on the 2 count, and she saw it happen. So maybe they're starting to plant the seeds for the breakup there. There's more that tag ties into that on Dynamite. We'll get into later. But basically, everybody comes in and gets some of their shit in. Britt gets her shit in, and she was tagging with Hayter against Storm and Sheeta at one point. And they basically didn't even face each other except for the point where they had the confrontation over the fact that she pulled the ref out the ring as Hayter was trying to make the pin. And probably would have got the 3 count there on the move that she had got off at the time. So that led to their breakdown there eventually. Your girl Sheeta looked good in this one, though, in defeat. She came in, had some good spots, coming in with the double kendo stick spot at one point in time. Got off some of her moves, trying to add to one of her. She already has a Joshi belt, so she would have been a double champ if she would have added the AEW interim title, women's title in here. But at the end, it's who we all thought would win this one. Skip to Tony Storm. Gonna skip down to the end of this match. There was the ripcord lariat by Hayter on Sheeta. Baker's where she pulled the ref on her too, so I said she was probably gonna win that one with that. That's what fell out for there. Storm hits a Storm Zero on Hayter, but Baker steals the cover on that one for 2. Back in, Storm gives Baker and Hayter a jumping DDT each, with the latter being enough to make Storm the champion about 14 minutes and 40 seconds. So finally good to see her with the belt. Again, first time since I've seen her in NXT UK winning the belt when she defeated Rhea Ripley in the finals of that, I think the Mae Young. Second Mae Young, I do believe. Next up is another one that has a surprising ending. So we get the recap of what's been going on with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy heading into this match, which is the feud match with them. Shortest match of the night. Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. The Jungle Boy's making his entrance. You would think his boy, Luchasaurus, is about to come out. He does, but he comes out and sneaks him. It was all a ruse. He's not back with him. He was with Christian all the time. That's why he never changed the mask back to green and it stayed black, is what I'm guessing. He picks him up and chokeslam him on the metal grate where the fucking pyro comes out.
Yeah.
So he stands up and has the grate marks on his fucking back. So that was rough to see. His mom's and his sister at ringside again. She slapped the shit out of Christian before the match. You know what I'm saying? As Christian is basically just like maestroing all of this from the ring for Luchasaurus to do. After he chokeslams him on the grate, sends him down to the ring for Christian to first hit the spear, which wasn't enough to even get the victory. That got a 2 count. Jungle Boy Jack Perry was still trying to fight out of it, but the kill switch ended everything after 21 seconds. Death Triangle ready to face Best Friends on Dynamite for leading to the feud between Orange Cassidy and Pac for the All Atlantic eventually, I'm assuming. Next up, we get a recap of Daniel Bryan and Chris Jericho's build up to this match. This is a pretty great match too. It was another surprising ending for me. Jericho versus Daniel Bryan. William Regal on commentary for this one. This is the part where I said that Cha said "Sing Daniel Bryan's song" came out, which I found very confusing because I didn't know who the hell he was. Until Bryan came out and dapped him up and they explained it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I go. All right, I guess we'll go with this." Anyway, let's get into some of this match.
People usually do entrances to somebody that either I know of or something like Glorious. I was like, yeah, I don't know who he was. Like,
This match was very long too. It went 23 minutes, so I'm gonna skip ahead in this one too. Let's skip down to the middle of the match. Dancing.
Match, I thought this shouldn't have went that long.
Jansen stomps away at Jericho, setting up a bell lock, gets rolled into the middle for better position. Jericho reverses into the walls again. Next, reverses into a triangle choke. Jericho gets him into the ropes for the break. They chop it out from the knees with Jericho getting chopped into the corner. Backflip over the clothesline is countered with the cold breaker for 2, setting up a lion tamer to make it even worse. A good lion tamer too, because he was pressing his knee into the back of his fucking head as he was doing it. Those are my favorite lion tamer. Another rope grab by Jericho goes primal by hammering away on the head. Danielson gets up again though and gets a running knee off for 2, hits a cattle mutilation. Jericho rolls out of it again. That works for Danielson, who fires back with the hammer and anvil elbows. Another cattle mutilation gets slacked on this time, but Jericho gets to the rope with his foot. Kick staggers Jericho out until Danielson is backed away from the ropes. Instead, a rolling forearm that rocks Jericho into more hammering and elbows ensued. Jericho managed to hit a low blow in the Judas effect. Finished off Danielson at the 23-minute mark. After the match, JS come out and carrying him off, basically, like promoting sports entertainers and all that shit. House of Black's ready for their match in the semi-main event. They're ready to take on Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. And we have that match next. This one only went 12 minutes. And so you remember what I was talking about on the last show when we were talking about there's something going down with Malachi Black. We'll get more into what happened, but apparently he's asked for his release for some reason. I don't know if this is a going back to WWE thing. I think he has some personal things going on. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that in a minute. But basically after the match, he seemed like he was saying goodbye to the fans and like blowing kisses and taking a bow after the match. Miro and Black start things off with Miro taking him into the corner. King comes in for a power brawl Miro until Allen tags himself in. Allen counters Murphy's Law into a cradle for 2, but the call red is countered. Allen yells, "Oh shit!" after Black kicks him in the head. King throws Allen to the corner and Black comes in for a chin lock. Allen fights up and goes over in the corner, but Jigga Hart distracting the referee, meaning no tag was made in his eyes. Tag goes through after a few seconds later, line him to bring in Sting. Stinger splash connects in the corner before he gets a stare down with Black. The brawl is on, hits a scorpion deathlock with the rest of House of Black not being able to break it up. Sting is finally staggered enough. This is where I thought Sting's selling went a little too far. Because they were hitting multiple he had to take like 5 super kicks before he was finally staggered enough to drop the fucking deathlock. I'm like, seriously? Like, okay, 1 or 2, okay, 5? Like, they kept doing the shit. He finally staggered enough to release Black. He gets Black reverses the deathlock into a knee bar. Miro having to come make the save. Allen's a coffin drop for 2. Matthews gets in and gets batted down. Miro crashing to the steps. Allen back up with a flipping stunner and a suicide dive, only come up holding his shoulder. Backhand Sting gets missed by Black, setting Allen's last supper. Sting missed Black, not the other way around, which was crazy to see. Allen gets the last supper pin for victory at about 12-minute mark. After the match, Jericho's asking where Daniel Garcia was, who was suspiciously not at ringside. As a result, he said he's not going to back him up for his match against Wheeler Yuta for the pure title. Neither with the JS Society or with the JS for the main event of Dynamite later this week. We get a recap of the world title situation with Jon Moxley and CM Punk, and then we get to the main event of the evening, Jon Moxley and CM Punk. Match did not go exactly how I thought it would. I mean, I kind of figured Punk was going to get in the title considering he's home, but the way we got there, I didn't see. Go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to my man Moxley because the whole walking through the Chicago crowd, flipping the double bird, he played the shit up so lovely. Lovely. I'm like, he drinking the water, he got William Regal behind him. I think one time he grabbed like William Regal or something off to the side or whatever, but it was just so funny though, man. Like, yeah, he went crazy. I like that. That's like how I feel like I want to go out with like an interest wise. Like, I'm like hated. Let me be like that, hated like that. Like, let me make y'all hate me more. And that was his plan when he came out like that. So, shout out to Mox for that, man. But, my fault, thank you.
No, you're good, brother. No worries. We'll get there. Anyway. So, this is another long one. Actually, this one only went 19 minutes. Surprisingly, there were more matches longer than this one, but we'll get there anyway. Mox will Regal in his corner is defending. stall to start until Moxley starts away at the hammer way in the corner. Punk gets kicked in the head with the bad foot, setting up the running knees in the corner. Another hammer and elbows rock Moxley, and the GTS gets two. They fight into the crowd with Punk unloading on Moxley. Back at ringside, Moxley manages to post him up, which busts Punk open. They get back inside. Moxley licks at the blood in his hand for kicking away at Punk again. Back up, Punk hits a running knee in the corner, but the knee gives out. On Moxley hit a shin breaker. We get a leg lock followed by a half crab with Moxley switches into a SCF and then a figure four, letting you know I'm not just a brawler. I actually am skilled in this ring when it comes to doing moves. I can do them too. Middle fingers. Fire Punk up enough to do a rollover to freedom. Moxley gets beaten up on the floor. Back in, Punk grabs the Anaconda Vice, but Moxley slips out and stops away.
So, that in a while.
Yeah, I know, right? The clothesline misses though, and Punk hits a drop kick, but the top rope elbow is pulled off into a bulldog choke. Once that's broken up, Punk hits a kick to the head, only be taking down more and more hammer and elbows, knock Punk silly. The bulldog choke was broken up again, and that gets muscled up and win. And gets muscled up as well. Another GTS attempt is countered, and Moxley hits the Death Rider for two. Moxley isn't having that. Grabs a choke again, only get GTS for the third time, and a title victory for Punk. So, this is the best part of this show for me. So, he's in the ring. He's celebrating his victory with the crowd and everything. All of a sudden, the lights go black, and you hear this video message from Tony Khan, like, on somebody's voicemail, you know what I'm saying? And on the voicemail, he says, you know, I'm tired of you screwing the fans. So this is going to be my final offer. I'm paraphrasing here. He said, this is going to be my final offer. If you come back at All Out, I'll pay you such and such. And they bleep that part out. Is I'll pay you such and such. And you can have your way because I'm tired of fans being screwed over. And I want the situation resolved or whatever, right?
In a casino battle royal.
Yeah, he said they put him in a casino battle royal and stuff like that. So then next they show Punk after he wins the ROH title, and he says, "You stupid old man." He said he's talking about being the greatest. He said the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was like something about him not like the God not knowing that it was the devil or whatever, something like that. But he was talking about himself. And next you see a guy take the mask off. You only see him from the back of his head. And you instantly knew, I knew it was MJF the moment he took the mask off. I know the back of that motherfucker's head. But they instantly heard him flipped on the motherfucking Burberry scarf. And you're like, yes, you know who it is. So he comes out. He doesn't have a microphone, but he just says he's coming for the title. That ends the show. But it was a great way to end the show. Now we get into the shit show. Alrighty. So after this pretty good pay-per-view we talked about, though we said it was long, was the main gripe of it. The rest of the show itself was great. So after the match, you know, AEW likes to do real, you know, sports style, kind of like UFC, with the media scrums after, with the wrestlers involved talking about their fights. So CM Punk comes out, starts out. I don't remember the question that was addressed to him to make him start talking about this, but he didn't even call the guy by his gimmick name. He's calling him by his real name. He kept calling him Scott Colton, picking of Cole Cabana. Shout out to my friend Coco. Actually took a picture with Cole Cabana, who was doing the show over the weekend in Minneapolis. I digress. Punk spoke in particular about the issues with Cole Cabana and Hangman Page, as also was the EVPs. Punk and Cabana have a long history, who were recently good friends who ultimately ended up suing each other. And he went in and said, if you look at the people that I've had to pay out or over the years more, I forgot who he said number one to. I think maybe he said the lawyers, they had something to do with the fucking case with WWE. He said number two was Scott Cole. He said, I paid him so much. He said, I even have proof. There are emails that said you can stop paying for everything now that he was saying. He put him on blast. He talked about the man having a bank account with his mother, which I was like, I don't know why you needed to put that out there. Now, you're just trying to dog him right now. He's talking about, I don't know this man. I have not been friends with this man for over 10 years. I don't know why you keep bringing up this fucking man every time. He was just going in and just shitting on him. The whole time he was doing this, and other people along the way, because he all talked about Hangman Page. He said, you young piece of shit, basically what he said. He said, how do you have the Michael Jordans and the Barry Bonds of professional wrestling in your locker room, and you have the nerve to come out and say that you don't want to ask for advice and you just want to learn on your own? I'm like, who are you to dictate who wants to take their advice how they want to? Like, that's like, what type of shit is that, bro? He sounded like a petulant asshole. And I didn't understand many of his gripes that he was even fucking saying. Like, these are people's personal fucking choices that they don't want to talk and take advice from you, motherfucker. They don't have to talk to you.
Yeah, I remember.
Shake hands and show respect is one thing. Take advice, they have to?
Yeah,
he said it while he was talking about in the form of Terry Funk. I guess Terry Funk was backstage, and Hangman had said to Terry Funk that he didn't need to take his advice. He was going to learn on his own. Was that Funk to saying this? Because he kept mentioning Terry Funk when he was saying that. That was one of the things. Then he starts talking about the EVPs and said, these fuckers can't run a fucking Walmart, let alone a wrestling organization. Starts shitting on them, talking about how they're shitting on their biggest babyface, talking about himself when he says that. And he said, I'm just trying to make the company money, trying to make himself seem more holier than thou.
He's trying to pump your ego up.
He's talking about how he hates working with the young guys around there like MJF because they don't ever learn anything. He said they want to shit where they eat and have their cake and eat it too, type of deal. Shitting on MJF. The whole time, as I was starting to say, he's eating them up and very condescendingly and talking to all the fans and shit as he says the shit. Tony Khan is sitting here with this face, bro. And he keeps trying to, at certain points, he tries to cut in and says stuff like, he's speaking on, like, oh, that was my fault, And Punk is like, no, just brushes him off, like, no, Tony, this isn't your place to say this shit. I'm like, bro, step in. That's like, bro, step in as the boss, bro. Shit on him. Right. Like, no, motherfucker, you back off. I don't give a fuck if it was in front of them. The look he had on his fucking face, bro. It was like a deer in headlights, and he couldn't believe what was happening in front of him.
He had the,
but he couldn't stop it. I don't know.
He had the he talking about the Brian the words he talking about. He had the face that he said Vince had when see him pipe bomb. Like Vince knew what he was going to say, but then he started going off, throwing like off script a little bit, and Vince over here looking like, what the fuck's he saying? Like, he ain't supposed to be saying all this shit. Like, stop. They said his shit was premeditated. Back to the whole fact of, yeah, I mean, look. Y'all in the rest of it. If I don't want to take your advice, I don't have to take it. You can't get mad at me because I don't want to take your advice. Yeah, I remember. Them guys started over in Japan. He probably took advice from them guys over there. He probably didn't want to take advice from you. From you. It's a difference.
Here were some
walking around shitting on. You said on the EVP. First of all, you think act like a potential child. He's walking around
act like a petulant asshole.
He's walking around here like he owes something when he ain't owed a goddamn thing. Like what the fuck?
He acts like all the success recently has been off only his back.
Yeah, like you're the reason all of a sudden like
you're part of it. You're not all of it.
Not all of it.
Here's some of the choice things he said. Quote, I haven't had anything to do with Scott Colton in almost a decade. Probably wanted nothing to do with him, and even he said probably
that's like you really ain't cool with nobody no more. When like your friendship be real, when like you call him by the government now. You don't call him by his nickname no more, or where it's the government.
I haven't had anything to do with Scott Colton in almost a decade. Probably wanted nothing to do with him even longer than that. It's fucking unfortunate I have to come up here on this when I'm here on my time, and this is a fucking business.
But you bought it up on your time, though. So by that time, shit out the window now. Now.
Quote, I'm a grown-ass adult man. Not decide to be friends with somebody is nobody else's fucking business but my friends. As if I fall backwards, he would catch me. Scott Colton, I felt never would have. My problem was I wanted to bring a guy with me to the top that didn't want to see me at the top. You call it jealousy, you can call it envy, call it whatever the fuck you want. The relationship with Scott Colton ended long before I paid all of his bills. I have every receipt, every invoice, every email. I have every email where even says I agree to our separate ways. I will get my own lawyer. You do not have to pay anymore. And that's the email that I have. The only reason I did not release it to the public is because when I finally had to counter sue him, we discovered that he shares a bank account with his mother. That's a fact. As soon as we discovered that fact, we subpoenaed old Marsha, and he sent out the email, can we please drop all of this? It's like he's so damn on blast. Unnecessarily putting this nigga on blast. Unnecessarily putting him on blast.
You share a bank account with mom. That's not even the part. The part of that you said you put her in the lawsuit. So it was like, well, damn. Since I can't get to you, I'm going to get to your moms too. It's like, god damn, man. Like, come No.
He tried to resolve the issues with Colt Cabana prior to Cabana's lawsuit against him, but Cabana went ahead with the lawsuit anyway. When it came,
As he rightfully should.
quote, when it came down and he was going to sue me, I asked him to talk to me. He refused. I asked him for mediation. He denied it. I offered him money. He said it was not enough. We went ahead with the lawsuit and sued, and it's a fucking funeral. I don't care. He shares a bank account with his mother, which tells you all you need to know about what kind of character that is. So then he continues. He went on to call the company's EVPs, the Bucks and Omega, irresponsible, and he said they spread lies. And this is talking about how they didn't like how Colt Cabana had been moved kind of to our ways, and they felt like it was Punk's fault because of how he felt about the situation. And they said that they felt Punk feels like they released that to the media, and the media said that's not true. They never said
They
that.
never said it. No, they didn't.
FIFO notes. Like I said, what I believe by what I just said basically. He said Punk went to himself, win the bids for himself in their build up to the Double or Nothing 2022 match. Referencing about the promo from a couple weeks ago. Quote, the fact I have to sit up here because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't fucking manage the target. They spread lies and bullshit and put it into the media, and I got somebody fired when all the fuck I have to do with him. He said, and got somebody fired when I have fucked it all to do with them. I want nothing to do with them. I don't care where he works, where he doesn't work. He's talking about Colt Cabana here. Okay. Where he eats, where he sleeps. That's why I said they thought that he released that to the media. That's what he's referring to. I do not care where he works, where he doesn't work, where he eats, where he sleeps. The fact that I have to get up here and do this in 2022 is fucking embarrassing. If all of you, it's all your fault. Fuck you. If you're not, I apologize. If it's not, I apologize. Whatever I did do in this world to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like Hangman Page to go on national TV and fucking go into business for himself for what? What did I do? I didn't I didn't do a goddamn thing.
Go, continue. Go ahead.
Tony Khan ended up trying to intervening to clear the backstage issues, but Punk made it clear he felt it wasn't Khan's business, and the EVP should have known better before saying Hangman jeopardized AEW's first $1 million house. Quote, this is him saying once again, trying to act like it's all him. Quote, it's not Tony Khan's position to make it clear. There's people here who call themselves EVPs that should have fucking known better. This shit is none of their business. I understand sticking up for your fucking friends. I get it. I stuck up for guys in the business more than anybody. I paid his bills until I didn't, and it wasn't my decision not to. I tried to run a fucking business, and when somebody who hasn't done a goddamn thing in his business jeopardized the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off of my back, goes on national TV, and then goes into that, it's a disgrace to this company. It's a disgrace in its industry. We're far beyond apologies. I have given a fucking chance. I did not get handled. You saw what I had to do, which is very regrettable, lowering myself to his fucking level. And that's where we are right now.
So you talking about Hangman?
Yeah, he's talking about Hangman right there.
Okay.
Punk calls Page an idiot for not taking advice from veterans. Quote, our locker, I told you he went in, bro. He went in, bro. This is what caused all this shit to go down. And I'm telling you, the whole time, it went like 25 minutes. Remember, I told you to watch it. It was like 25 minutes of him going in. And Khan is just sitting there the whole time like,
with that businessman pipe
blinking away. It was crazy.
Like, stop him.
A couple times he tried, Punk to cut him off. A couple times he tried, Punk to cut him off. So then eventually it seemed like Khan was kind of placating to him, like he didn't really want him to say anything anymore. So he didn't like encourage it. He just kind of like, oh, good muffin, yeah, okay. Can I go to those drinks? Yeah, okay. All right, we'll see you later. Like he kind of brushed it off the way type of deal. He didn't address it right there on the spot. Like, hold on, nigga, I'll run this. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. That's what he did not do. Anyway, I can tell you. This is the quote he was talking about the very bottom shit. He said, our locker room, for all the wisdom and brilliance it has, isn't worth shit when you have empty-headed idiot who has done nothing in the business to do public interviews and say, I don't really need to take advice. Who the fuck do you think you are? Okay, that's finally most of his quotes.
Okay, well, a couple things. First of all, being back to the one thing. Hangman Page been over and what? He just didn't want to take your advice. Two, your butt hurt about one quote that he said in the promo. You're not the guy that you are outside that you claim to be inside. That could be him just talking about your wrestling skills and shit like that. You took that personal. Three, why are you walking around here again? You acting like you are old so that you're not fucking on. You're not the reason AEW even hit $1 million. Page been added from the forefront from the beginning. And I think the EVPs, I think they did a damn good job because they ain't putting everything on them. They putting everybody over. They putting matches up here against some of these other guys that you probably look at. Well, why do he get a match with somebody on the statue level of him. You know, why it's like some people probably feel like, why is Ray Phoenix getting the championship match against Kenny Omega in the finals? Like you know, Ray Phoenix is the fucking dog, the beast, but like most wrestling fans probably look at that like, well, he fighting Kenny Omega, like no. And then Tony Khan, they have talks all the time, so Tony Khan knows all that. But my Tony Khan, man, you got the power, man. You can't have that man tell you, no, this ain't none of your man. No, bro, shut the fuck up. Unplug his mic. Tell the man, don't ask that no more questions. Like questions. Like, you can do all that, man. You ain't do nothing, and by you sitting there and not saying nothing, you let the shit escalate and you let it happen even more. So you gotta take part of the shit too. It falls on you.
So the story continues. Punk went off on all these people. Hangman Page, Colt Cabana, the EVPs, which basically the elite. During the scrum, backstage reports that the Bucks and Omega were extremely pissed off and went backstage at the Punk's comments about them. We went into everything that he said. Punk apparently has a lot of heat on him right now out of the comments. The Bucks were scheduled to be part of the
these comments.
They were supposed. Bucks and Omega were scheduled to be part of the media scrum, but they had to make an adjustment because they went backstage apparently and had a fight with Punk. Is apparently what had happened. As I get more into that story, so the rumor is that there's two different sides to it. Punk's side of it says that he was just backstage chilling, and all of a sudden Matt came in just swinging. And of course Nick's his brother, so he's backing him up. Ace Steel was there and got pissed off because his wife was there taking care of Larry the dog, and he didn't feel like she should have been in there, so he got pissed and got to throwing chairs around the motherfuckers, tripping, biting people, and that's when Kenny Omega finally got involved because of the dog being involved. He wanted the dog out of the room while all this was happening. He didn't even really care about the fight and everything else. He was just trying to take care of the fucking animal. Omega. Yeah. Then he got involved. Had a chair thrown at him and got bitten.
My thing is this. So you are mad because you felt like you said they walked into the room and your wife and everything was in there. You think throwing the chair would make shit better? Like, did you think about that? Like
grown ass man, right? The oldest man, everybody in the room.
This is why I don't believe Punk's side of what he's saying. It seemed like to me, I don't believe his side. And then if I remember correctly, Omega and them side said the Bucks knocked on the door, came in and said, look, if you got a problem with the way we doing things, you know where we be at, you know where to find us. I think they were saying as for EVP. I think CM Punk took that as another way, still hot about the media scrumming his feelings, and they trying to come at him some kind of way, which led to him throwing. I think they said he threw at Matt, and then Nick got knocked out. One of the Bucks got knocked out with the chair. I think it was Matt.
Nick, I'm about to get into that. A report of additional details about the backstage brawl confirmed by Piper Select.
Omega too. He's a man of the people and the puck. And they said he was cool until chairs started getting thrown. He got pissed. Confirmed
by Piper Select, the physical altercation with the Bucks. And it was not confirmed if Omega was involved, but Omega was said to have gotten the physical altercation with Ace Steel, who have heard. Cracked Nick Jackson with a chair, which ended up giving Nick Jackson a black eye. One source noted that Steel was lucky not to be in jail, and there said to be a huge amount of heat on Steel about the situation, with some people saying that they believe Steel should not be back with the company after this. One person said that they weren't certain what went down, but that it could have possibly escalated by hitting someone with the chair. Security was called in, which you saw during the media scrum. Security just ran out during either when Jericho was up there or while Swerve My Glory was up there, I believe, talking with Tony Khan there to try to break up the brawl backstage. The Elite were said they eventually left the area, with the argument continuing with much cursing and yelling at that point. There were people on both sides of the matter who spoke out about the situation, with some saying Punk prompted the situation with his comments, while others saying the Elite should have not approached Punk when things were that heated. A large majority of people have expressed that Punk should have expected to have been approached about the situation, though. Jericho had been getting a lot of credit for stepping up as the leader of the last couple of weeks, with a couple mentioning he had calm demeanor at the scrum in front of everybody while all this was going on backstage. It was originally reported that after Punk went off, there was a backstage brawl, like I said. People had to intervene during the alleged melee. Punk started the physical altercation we heard by swinging at Matt Jackson first. No one knew who actually started the fight. PW Insider also noted that Omega was present for the physical altercation between the Bucks, and he did not physically get involved with Punk. Punk's former trainer and Ace Steel, aka Chris Guy, also got involved during the altercation. He previously joined AEW as a producer coach for a number of months ago. According to Fightful, Mick Jackson was either rocked or possibly knocked out during the brawl by the chair because of Ace Steel throwing it. Fightful also noted that Megan and Ace Steel got physical with each other during the quarrel. Fightful reported that Steel actually went even so far as to bite Omega and grab his hair. That's some sucker shit. Steel arrived at the altercation since his wife was there in the vicinity. Yeah, she was in the vicinity taking care of Larry the dog. That's what happened. There's a lot of cursing, a lot of mayhem, a lot of people not willing to hash it out. They said the coaches backstage have been very torn up over what took place last night. Several sources note that Fightful thinks that the incident could result in legal ramifications. Additionally, fighters report that Christopher Daniels and Pat Buck were involved in the incident, and their involvement was based upon the witnesses of the event. Several individuals reportedly attempted to de-escalate the situation. Tony Khan was the president for the fight. Obviously, he was still answering questions during the media scrum. Towner took part in the scrum. After seeing Punk reportedly were not aware of what happened or what was said backstage. So there's a lot going on from that, obviously. So we know about that. Let's talk about more of the fallout from that. This is where we get into our news here. So apparently Punk. Let's talk about the suspensions from this, because something had to be followed. By the way, I said Ruby Soho suffered a broken nose during her all-out match on 0 Hour. I'll get this out of the way just because I mentioned it right quick and it's here in my stories.
Yeah.
She was holding her nose that the match had to be helped to the back. It was rumored.
They showed it, I think, too.
She finished the match, yeah, but it showed her break her nose. There was a post up. No, that was something different. Gotcha. But yeah, she broke her nose anyway, so shout out to her. Hope she gets better soon. All right, here's more fallout from everything that happened on the suspensions and everything. Previously reported about everything that happened backstage. We can talk about it the whole time. I'm not gonna have to repeat about that. A report yesterday, no suspensions are coming in. None of the participants will be featured on Dynamite, which they weren't. This was reported to Sports Illustrated. The list of suspended wrestlers and staff include Kenny Omega, Nick and Matt Jackson, Pat Buck, Christopher Daniels, Michael Nakazawa, and Brandon Cutler. According to several, all got suspended.
You said Pat Buck?
Pat Buck. According to, because he was involved in it. I said that a second ago. Him and Christopher Daniels.
Okay.
According to several sources, Punk and Steel will be either suspended or they will not be back in AEW by the end of the day. Punk met with Tony Khan yesterday. A total third-party investigation will be made to find out exactly what happened. Hangman, who was the target of Punk's speeches, already left the building in time the incident had occurred. It was noted that while someone thought this was used for a storyline feud between the Elite and, say, Punk and FTR, this will likely not happen. I have more on that in a second when we cross that bridge.
I don't know. I don't think I'm jumping ahead of your news.
Go ahead, bro.
If I am, let me know.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I also think, too, that the reason Punk feels this way is because of the fact that it was in your hometown and wasn't nobody talking about you. We was all talking about MJF. He took your moment.
But it's apropos though, because
I know it is.
Because he took Wardlow's moment at Double or Nothing with his contract situation in Vegas.
Yeah.
So
but then again,
it goes around, comes around.
Yeah. But he said he the one that carries the company on his back, and he built $1 million house and all this, and everything need to be given to him because he's seeing motherfucking Punk and all this shit. Like, no.
Well, here's some latest news about that. In the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, it's reported that Punk was also suspended. It said that everyone involved has been suspended until the investigation for a third party is over. Once interviews are done and determinations will be made, it will be suggestions that investigations of this nature usually don't take more than a couple of weeks, but there's a couple of versions of the events not to go through.
Did they say who's gonna be the investigator is, or they just said third party?
Third party.
Okay.
Dave Meltzer added AEW is unlikely to ever actually publicly reveal what happened with the situation. There was evidence by none of the suspended parties being mentioned on Dynamite last night. Titles were stripped without mention of the former champions. Meltzer also added, due to Punk being injured, he would have to vacate the titles regardless.
Yeah.
More on how long they may be out.
You answered my next question. I'm about to say, did they give a legitimate? I remember we was talking about this off air, and you said Eddie Kingston got what? 2 weeks.
2 weeks for Pie facing Sammy Guevara.
By the way, I'm sorry. I know people love Sammy.
So yeah, they didn't say.
Deserve to get piped.
They didn't say. So basically, when it's investigation's over, so let's say at least 3 weeks. It's a couple weeks, so let's say at least 3 weeks. So probably by October, we'll know what's going on.
So what do you think they'll be off Dynamite till then? Probably.
Did Punk plan this? On the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez, who was there for the Scrum Live, because he asked one of the questions to him during this, I remember.
Okay.
Noted that some people backstage at AEW think Punk had rehearsed all the all-out post-show media Scrum comments beforehand, adding that he used Nick Hausman of Wrestling Inc. to say what he wanted to say about Colt Cabana, even though it was out of context, and that he continued to make comments about things that had nothing to do with specific questions asked by the reporter. As I said, he went off on a tangent and just
bro,
went
they said this whole thing was premeditated, bro. Like, they said he walked, like, he went to the media scrum with this, like, he was
on his brain,
off his chest.
Meltzer responded by saying that it was clear that the comments were planned. Meltzer added that it was odd that Punk didn't want to be blamed for Cabana's status at AEW, but seemed to really want to bury Cabana during the media scrum in such a personal way. Meltzer also seemed to defend Hangman and the Bucks from Punk's comments, knowing that they helped AEW build in the first place. A page was drawn well as a headliner in AEW pay-per-views. Meltzer also added that Punk showed no respect for AEW at all. Meltzer noted that Punk had been an divisive figure backstage and that he had already been rubbed by rubbing people the wrong way, and he has been frustrated at times that some town in AEW haven't been taking his advice instead of opting to do things that made them successful, as opposed to Punk's more old-school advice. Here you go about that again. They added that the latest they have heard is that Omega and the Bucks did not kick down the door of Punk's locker room. So maybe Punk did go back there and start swinging first as soon as he saw them or something.
I believe he did.
Of that nature is how this really started. Here we go. More on Ace Steel allegedly biting Kenny Omega during the brawl. Recently reported there was a brawl backstage and all that. It resulted in the World and Trio titles being vacated and everyone involved getting suspended. One of the details that allegedly say Steel bit Kenny Omega during the ordeal. Once again, Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio, indicated that one version of the story suggested Omega was trying to break things up at the time. Steel reportedly dealing with Nick Jackson when Omega came up from behind and pulled him off. Steel believed Omega was trying to cross-face him, so he did bite him. Other accounts at the time said Steel was trying to protect his wife and Punk's dog Larry. Whatever the reason, reports also came out that he drew a chair and pulled Omega's hair. It's also noted that there's an internal investigation going on, being conducted about the incident. Decisions will be made after it's over.
Again, you trying to protect your wife. Why don't you get your wife out of here when shit going down with them? Get her out of here, then you go back in there. Because apparently that's a damn lie, because Kenny Omega the one that got the goddamn dog out of here. Not you. Not you. You throwing chairs and shit.
All right, so Punk also suffered an injury during all of this. Had an arm injury during the match. I guess that's part of the reason they added into him being supposedly vacating it. It was noted, Wrestling Observer News Radio again, noted that Punk hurt his arm during a dive that outside about 5 to 7 minutes into the match. Meltzer said that Punk has had surgery or may have already had the surgery. Surgery is to be for a torn muscle in the arm. It's likely Punk's tricep.
Yeah,
it requires 8 months of surgery, so the belt would have been vacated either way. Now, that just happened to be an added caveat to be able to write him off. That's a convenient coincidence, I guess you would call it.
Take some of the heat off him because of the fact that Punk's injured now, so you don't gotta really mention the fact of CM Punk.
Latest on the meeting between Punk and Tony Khan and perception around Steel's AEW future. A new report has a few extra details on Punk's meeting with Tony Khan over the media scrum, as well as Steel's expected status with AEW going forward. It reported what happened. A host of suspension were issued regarding the backstage altercation that happened at All Out, including Omega, the Bucks, Pat Buck, Christopher Daniels, Nakazawa, and Cutler. While Punk and Steel were not yet listed as suspended, it reported they would either be suspended or out of AEW by the end of the day. According to the Zone reporter Steven Muehlhausen, his sources at AEW noted that Punk met with Khan on Tuesday and said that the talks would be constructive. It's not yet clear on what that means, but the report says that Steel was suspended at this that this is being seen as a sign he won't be fired. That said, the perception among the sources and not any confirmed that still will not be fired. There are said to be a lot of moving parts still, particularly in neutral parties. All still talk with people investigating the situation. And I already told you what they did on Dynamite as far as vacating the titles and such.
Yeah. So that whole thing was just crazy. And not only that, but also you also got issues in the women's locker room too. You got issues both in your locker room, and you got your roster divided. Cause actually, some people that's team Punk with this, like.
Yeah, I heard.
Like people
that people like him.
Yeah, so you got
amongst all of this happening, Fallout earned $1 million gate.
Nice.
So it made dough. Good for them on that. There's some Fallout, other people's reactions to everything that happens. We'll get into some of those. I have 4 in particular about that, so we can finally move on from the story because it's been pretty long. I understand, but we did warn it was going to take on a lot of this.
I do one more thing too, because like we talk about like the whole media scrum and everything like that. The fact that I think we talked about this too off air. The fact that he got all this shit going on, you gotta get your house in order, and you still throwing shots at WWE about the whole.
But he's right.
About the whole not knowing.
Now he should have known. I don't believe that.
That's what I'm talking about.
But he's right, and they kind of program you for the longest. So I don't understand why you're getting mad about it now, Tone. But
like, yeah, like
handle your own house. You're absolutely correct.
It's just paranoid. I honestly think it's
maybe drawing attention. Maybe trying to draw attention away too.
You doing a goddamn way of doing it. I mean, yeah, I know, because it just was the talk. So
apparently, more injuries coming out of All Out. Christian Cage's match was cut short because his injury to Cage's arm.
Yeah, I heard he gotta get surgery too.
Yeah, he's gotta get surgery. Be wearing an arm brace. Malachi Black hugs his partners after the matches we spoke about and bowed to the crowd for blowing kisses off camera. It's rumored he asked for his release due to personal reasons, though it's not confirmed as of yet. I'll get more into that in a second because I have some more on that story also. Actually, we can get more into that right about now. Yes, sir. All right. Aleister Black. Proper reports that he's been granted his conditional release. It was written rumored that he wanted a release from AEW for personal reasons. Black's initial request was not granted. AEW told Fight for the record that Black had not been gone from the company. It appears that he had changed the initial stance that Black has been granted his release. Several talents stated that Black is done with AEW for the foreseeable future, saying the release was originally highly conditional, which normally isn't the case for AEW. Normally has not released talent for reasons other than disciplinary issues. The requests for release are poorly on a done by case basis. Yeah. Black Tony Khan wanted Black to be part of AEW for years to come. Reportedly, he had conversations to establish that work on led to AEW were fruitful. However, after the meeting took place, AEW officials decided that if Black wanted to leave, it would be best for him to leave for all parties involved.
Yeah, let me see. While we talking about the meeting before we get into the reaction,
Go ahead.
So they had a meeting before Dynamite, which collaborated with your earlier story, and the people that led that meeting were Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and Chris Jericho. So the meeting basically, talent was told keep your personal issues personal and solve your personal issue backstage instead of leaking news, like the past few months. So he basically accusing people, somebody's out there, it's a leak somewhere in what's name. They said that point was made. They said Danielson, Moxley, and Jericho got praised for the meeting. Jericho got praised for stepping up backstage more than he previously did, like you said in the story where he walked up to Tony Khan, like, still playing in Silver Rover, whispered in his ear, like, bro, situation going on backstage you need to tend to, you know. They said they love Daniel's demeanor, and spoiler alert, sorry, that promo that Moxley bought this week on AEW had to do with this meeting. Meaning, they also said it was not anti CM Punk. You know, like they wasn't basically shitting on CM Punk in this meeting, but those three had done as much or more than Punk did, leaving the meeting left after what happened before. One time said that they have a variety of veterans they can go to for advice. They said another incident they mentioned the whole thing with Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara Vara. They said the incident, this whole incident, shouldn't have happened in the first place. Look at the way Eddie Kingston owned up to his issue with Sammy Guevara. He did it the right way. You know, like he admitted he was wrong. You know, for hitting him in the face and everything like that. They said they tried to call this meeting in Buffalo, but the meanwhile was told count as usual. Its reputation, people saying that AEW might have some damage that they need to repair.
No, Jericho was one of the people backstage being a leader, trying to stand up, trying to tell people how special AEW is, and you leaking shit is ruining it. Yeah. Handle your shit backstage and talking about being more professional about their shit.
Exactly.
And like how going into business for yourself is unacceptable, like Punk's been doing, going into business for himself. Mm-hmm. So that's part of that. What else do we have here before I get into reactions real quick? Keiji Muto, step away from AEW a little bit for a second. Keiji Muto has a retirement match announced. The Amazing, aka the Great Muta. Announced February 23rd. The Tokyo Dome will be his final match. February 21st to be exact, 2023.
Well, since you're talking about...
For Grand Final Pro Wrestling.
Well, I'm going to follow your retirement story with another retirement story. Vampiro announces his final retirement date from wrestling. Of course, we all know he had a lot of ups and downs. Remember, he had struggled with Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So he got back he worked his ass off to get back in ring shape at AAA early at Triple Mania 30, Chapter 2. He announced that he will say goodbye to wrestling in 2024. He got tours, so signings lined up, special appearances, and a couple more matches he needs to do. But December 2024 is when you will see the last of Vampiro in a wrestling ring. You know, so. And he is 55?
Yeah, like I said, you should have been and put the statement out. Come on now. Anyway.
Ric Flair 73 and he's still wrestling.
Doing fake heart attack spot.
I didn't say that. You said that, not me.
PW Insider
reports.
Ric Flair's
your guy, so you can say that. It won't be less. It won't sound less dick. Less of a. I ain't a dick because you're not being a dick moving about it. It's less.
I think he was being a dick for doing it.
It's less critical with you saying it because you're a Ric Flair guy compared to me saying it. You get what I'm saying?
PW Insider reports that a fake statement circulating social media attributed to AEW president Tony Khan is not true. That A-Man Page had left AEW overseeing Buck's comments from the scrum.
Who put that out there?
I don't know, but
who was defending? Like, why you gonna leave when they was defending you?
it appears that has not happened. Hip Hop DX reported that actor Bronson is making a special appearance at All Out, which we saw. Apparently, this may lead to maybe him having a match, or at least having Hook's Corner.
I need a
down
tag
the line.
match. I need a tag match with him and Kevin Gates versus like Nice, Mark Sterling, Hook on their side.
Reports on why Tony Khan decided to bring back MJF. A reporter decided to bring back MJF at All Out. He made his return, as we already stated, after what happened with Double or Nothing, where he cut the promo talking about Tony Khan to fire him regarding his contract. During the scum, somebody asked Tony about it. He said, "I'm the one who asked him to come back." This is a Tony Khan quote. MJF's a big star for the company. He's one of the biggest. This is one of our biggest events. A year ago, CM Punk debuted here, and I thought it was right for the fans. For the fans, I thought the best that would be to do is, as a company, to bring MJF back. MJF has had title match lined up and will face CM Punk at one point, and yet undetermined. But that may not happen now that he's been stripped of the belt. We'll get into everything that happened from that later. Punk took a shot at MJF during the media scrum, saying he's tired of wrestling his kids that think that they know everything. I'm not the boss. Alluding to MJF's threats to go on WWE and say Max likes the shit where he eats instead of watering the grass. What'd you say?
Can you get the reactions now?
I'm about to. Hold on. We're almost there. I
got some too, but we're going to keep going.
No, we're almost there.
I got some non-AEW news. I want to finish AEW.
All I really got left is reactions. The thing I talked about Kevin Nash and Omega talking about Will Ospreay. Here's Bischoff weighs in on MJF's Dynamite promo this week. His reactions were mixed. He said, quote, MJF incorporating a rival company to his promos. He said, I question bringing up WWE. I'd rather be somewhere else. I get it. He delivered it in an amazing, talented way. I just don't know why, if that segment was the right segment to do that in. On the impact of promo ultimately achieved, quote, it was really effective. It worked. It set up Moxley perfectly. Perhaps MJF was really, in his own way, personifying the CM Punk situation, making it his own that Moxley could dismiss it the way that he did and turn him into a heel. I did love the dynamic. I just wish they could have done it without the WWE references.
Well, since you talked about Eric Bischoff, can I go into my Eric Bischoff story about his whole way in on the media scrum?
Oh, yeah, I want to hear what he thinks
You
about
see how
that.
it
Go
ties
ahead.
into each other? Good job, man. That's why we hot tag. That's how we do it.
Dynamite dropping money?
Anyway, on the media scrum situation, he said, I did a horseshit job of handling this very type of thing. So I am not one to give anybody advice. But I had a lot of same issues in my own company taking the dirt sheet at that time. Meltzer primarily, leaking things that never should have been leaked. Talent takes upon themselves to leak certain things that really shouldn't have been leaked. So I get it. It's why I kind of empathize with CM Punk a little bit. On Backstage John Wick News being leaked to journalists, he said, I've been there and I've done it before in WCW and TNA. Let's not talk about your TNA. It's not Jeff Hardy. Enough said about TNA when it comes to your run. Okay? Okay. He said, I know the impact, but once you get to a point, it's truly a brush fire. If it's truly a brush fire, you're about to get ready to call National Guard because that brush fire is about to start taking on. It's going to get out of control. Get to it. On how he would handle if he was in Khan's situation. He said, if this was totally real life and nobody really working here, fire CM Punk. Like 2 minutes after he got done. Punk embarrassed Tony and is now
He did do that.
It's not working.
He did do that.
And on his accession that CM Punk has
He made him look like a bitch. He made him look like
Yeah,
CM
he
Punk's
did.
bitch.
Yeah.
To me.
Like you ain't got no control
Like
over
it's
your
like
company.
CM Punk's the boss. That's what it made it look like to me.
He said on certain that CM Punk has done none for AEW growth. He said, who knows? Maybe they just done just as good without him. From what I can tell and measure, which is weekly ratings, which is audience growth, or which is lack there for us. Nada. So, nada. So, he was being real vague with
They have made money, but I don't want to say that it's all because of Punk, though. I don't want to say it's not because of Punk either. I'm sure he had something to do with it.
Booker T.
Yes, I had his too. I'm glad you got this. Go ahead.
On his thoughts on what he
I'm
thought
coming at you with Ric Flair's opinion next.
Okay, that's cool. Cause I'm about to file after you file Ric Flair. I think I got one.
I got Bubba Ray too.
I got Freddie Prinze Jr.
Okay, cool.
He was in our story
I got
last week,
Bubba
too.
Ray. I got Flair. I got Bubba Ray, and I got Eddie Kingston. And then we're finally done talking that situation. I have two more stories, but they had nothing to do with this situation. Go ahead.
Okay, Booker T. What he think could have stopped this brawl at All Out. All Out.
What do you think about it?
Well,
I've been waiting to hear his opinion.
he said on what could have been ball. He said that could have been it, but it's one thing about the business. I was talking on my show, Hall of Fame. I love how every time he talks about something, he plugs this shit in. I ain't mad at Booker for that. God
I mean, if
what
that's
you
what the
do.
man talked about the shit at, I mean,
Now, I'm just talking about anything like interview-wise. He plugged this shit in, so I can't be mad at him for that. I respect that. Respect that. You got bills you gotta pay, brother. You got bills you gotta pay. He said it's something that we always had to respect to do. Is the guy that you're working with in the main event? We always go to that guy and we'll say, "Hey, man, really appreciate you for the house, bro. Thanks for the house, man." We always do that out of respect. But the guy at the top, he never came to us and say, "Hey, guys, you can thank me for the house." And I think that's something that the business has gotten away from. I heard certain guys like CM Punk talk about Wrestler's Corner and how it was crap, how it was bull, but those are the way we used to make sure our locker room stayed a certain way with certain guys. Guys, we police that in the locker room and we did it a certain way. And I think at the end of the day, some guys did like Wrestler's Court. But for me, I was all in because it was something that we did to make sure that guys in the locker room, they knew the protocol. On younger wrestlers ignoring tradition, something else that Punk mentioned. He said this could have been handled if they believed in Wrestler's Court. But a lot of these young guys today think we're old, we're outdated, we really don't understand what they're trying to do. But for me personally, I have a wrestling school. I work with nothing but young kids, and I do understand that I got to go down to their level in order to bring them up to my level. I understand that if you do not change with the business or change with the times will pass you by. So if I had a little mustache and a faded haircut, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation.
I like how you put that.
On how AEW needs a veteran that everyone looks up to. CM Punk seems to want to play ball with whoever that Undertaker character was going to be in the room. He always seemed to be wanting to be that character in the locker room. At least that's how I disconcerned it. There again, that's where a lot of problems are going to come from, where these guys don't go by traditional code the way that business is run. For many, many years, I think it was run very, very well, especially to the locker room from a attention perspective. But I don't think the Omega, the Young Bucks, those guys, they're not offered to wrestle the court and then CM Punk is on trial. That's like putting Donald Trump on trial. We're going to have a lot of roadblocks in that way. And Punk, again, is one of those guys who don't believe in wrestlers' court. So I don't see something like that working. And if they had a system like that and they're able to police themselves and talk among themselves and put each other on trial, I think the wrestling world would be a much more better place. I agree with everything that Booker T is saying. Like, and back in the old days, you did do that. You did with, like, in the main event or somebody with him. You always talking about it. If you have beef, you sell that shit in the locker room. It never gets out. But then again, back then when they ain't have social media all like that, though. You know, now you got everybody with camera, then everybody with Twitter, then everybody tweeting everything that's going on. You know, like, so. But yeah, I agree with everything Booker said.
All right, so here's Ric Flair's opinions on what went down on his recent episode of To Be the Man. Quote, I've been watching it from afar and it's very entertaining. If it's entertainment, the fans want is entertainment they're getting. Punk is giving them a lot of it. We just barely got to say hi in the WWE. It was long gone when all the bad blood seemed to appear between him and Hunter. And then the lawsuit with the doctor and all that. I wasn't aware of any of it, and I saw it like everybody else on social media. I always sided with Hunter because on that because I didn't know the other guy. But Punk is creating excitement now, and he's not afraid to say it. I like the way he said it. I'll walk down the hall and be ready. That's Harley Race talking right there. I don't know if he's that tough, but I love that. That's old time stuff right there. If you got a problem with me, you can find me right here in the building. It's got to be dividing the locker room. On the situation escalating into a backstage brawl, quote, there's two kinds of brawls. There's one where a guy will start a fight because he knows he's going to get broken up because there's so many people around. I would think this is probably the situation with these guys. It's not like they're walking into a dressing room to talk to Harley Race or Black Tag Mulligan. I would have been
I heard it's common sports. Yeah, don't take up issues with Black Tag Mulligan. It don't end well for you.
That would take a lot of thinking and talking and walking a lot to talk to Harley Race about something that they didn't like as an individual. The fact that Punk said I'm in the building if you want to find me or something like that, or I like that, it's probably not what Tony Khan or anybody else wants to hear. But if he has the courage to say that and he feels that strongly about somebody, then I don't blame him for saying it. I like Omega and I like the Bucks. It seem like really easy guys to get along with, but I don't know them that well. For me, it's about how you treat me as an individual and treat me great. I was able to be around Kenny when he wrestled Andrade in Mexico, and the Bucks have been awesome. So I don't know. CM Punk, I don't know him either, but he said it. So that was it for Flair.
All right, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Go ahead.
I'm just bringing him up because we mentioned him in our story last week when he tried to start that company and tried to get Bray Wyatt off him a significant amount of money. All right. Okay. So he said this should have been a return. Let's see. This should have been a return to MJF. He's going to get CM Punk with the biggest storyline in wrestling in the last 20 years, but because of a bunch of backstage bullshit, everybody talking about guys that aren't even wrestling for freaking championship. That was not, they're not talking about this storyline. MJF is the freaking afterthought, which is disgusting. He said the backstage brawl may have been the best way to resolve this. Resolve it. He sounds like I love the way he said that. He sounded a lot like John Cena when CM Punk was saying a lot of shit that people didn't like, which is kind of weird. However, he said, if you have a problem with me, come confront me. He needs to do the exact same thing. I hope he is. Apparently, the confrontation backstage, the only good part of this whole thing. Because hopefully, they had a fist, they beat each other's asses, and then it's done. He said AEW needs someone backstage that everyone universally accepts. He said, it's bad there, there's no leadership. He's saying stuff from his boss that's making Tony
now, who is this, Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said making Tony like cringe and become this shrinking Violet, and that's his boss.
Strictly Violet.
So there's no leadership backstage. Things are a big mess back there. They have to find someone that everyone universally respect. Not have a wrestler's court, so he disagree with what Booker T is saying in terms of wrestler's court. Or maybe they need that. It's the wrestler's court. They have one of their EVPs, which is Adam Page, says he doesn't need advice. He doesn't take advice. I know a lot of actors that talk like that in their 20s, and people tend to forget. Hangman Page is what, like 24, 20, like he's young. On his friends, and they be telling him that it sucks backstage. I have a couple friends that work that said it just sucks. They need leadership. They need someone from the outside that is in a position of power, but the EVP that ain't having it, or at least to bring people together and say, hash this shit out right now, even if it means you guys have to throw punches. Punches. So, punches. And one more thing about Booker T, because he said this bra, he don't see AEW in a similar the way WCW does. He said whatever problems AEW going through right now, it's not similar to the chaos in WCW. In them days, we seen that the writing was on the Raw. We were just waiting for doctors to tell us it's over. Tony Khan has a lot of money involved. He's invested. He's all in, no pun intended, with this company. And he's going to do everything he can to make this right. Khan ain't going to start about thinking, Khan's even going to start thinking about how to make this thing successful. If he gets to that 5-year mark and things not working out, he'll start thinking then. So.
All right. 2 more on it, then we're done with it. Eddie Kingston on his issues with CM Punk and more. Quote, people don't need to know inside baseball. Eddie Kingston's outspoken about how he dislikes certain people in the company like CM Punk, Jericho, and others, but he doesn't think fans need to know why. Kingston spoke with Busted Open Radio, and we'll get back to Busted Open Radio with my next comments. Before All Out this past week, and talking about the issues he's had with Punk and Jericho and Jameson and Cardio Castagnoli, and explained that he doesn't, and how he will be open about the guys he doesn't like, but doesn't feel like the fans need to know all the details on why. You can see some of the highlights below. He says, why the fans don't need to know why, quote, because they probably feel the same way. I don't know. I'm just able to say, you know what I mean? It's just the way I feel. I've always been raised, you know. If I don't like you, just don't mess with me. It seems like people like to mess with me when I don't like them. I don't look for trouble, but trouble finds me. That's the way I like to put it. And I just don't have any problem with not going after trouble. If it's there, then it's there. If it's not, then it's not. Quote on the tweet about Punk talking about him when he wasn't at Dynamite, quote, well, that's Phil's MO, you know what I mean? Like, that's just call it what it is. That's Punk's MO.
Damn, I'm about to go.
My man's got a Punk shirt there. God bless you. I'm happy for you fans of his. I'm not. He's a bitch. But God bless you. No, Punk's not a good dude. I can't care about what he says or does, but yeah, like, of course, he's going to trash talk when I'm not there. Of course, he's going to talk trash when the boss is in the way. Well, I think he likes me and he can't get over it. I think that maybe Philip wants to be like me. Maybe Philip wants to be loved like me. I don't know.
Damn, well, since people are hurting them to come up, we're going to talk about Bobby Fish. It's crazy because his contract is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
He said CM Punk acted like a cunt after their match. He said, interestedly enough, there was a little bit of whatever in the match that he and I had, and then Phil was really, I love how they just call him Phil because they hate him that much. I don't know what kind of language I can use here. After the match was a cunt. Well, yeah, apparently that's the word you are hell-58 on using here. He said, and frankly, as a martial artist, I went out and laid my shoulders down for you. You should be grateful that I did that. Because on national TV, if I decided I wanted to haiku your ass, I could. Because you're a little bit afraid of my world, I'm not John Jones or Anderson Silva. I was young, can handle myself enough that I can fold you like a wet nap, Phil Brooks. So don't be a cunny afterwards for a mistake that you made. It don't work well here. And then he said, not to mention, that move that he finished me with, it's not even your move. It's Kenta's move, Phil. So you took a man finishing move, which everybody knows, pro wrestling know that's kind of fucked up, and you weren't even decent enough to change the name. So yeah, it goes back. It wasn't a challenge, it was an invitation. Like, Phil, if you want to throw hands with the Young Bucks and with people who are on the short list of people who are my friends when it comes to this business, I'm happy to oblige. I wasn't there, so I know exactly what went on, but if you feeling froggy, let's jump together. And he ain't done yet. He said Phil kind of showed the world the kind of scumbag he is during the media scrum at All Out. He said maybe he's not that scumbag every day, but I guess we all got a little bit of scumbag in us, and some of us do a better job of controlling it than others. I mean, he called Colt Cabana's mother out by name. Like, come on, dude, we don't need that. Nobody needs to know what her name is. I don't even know what her name is. Marsha, maybe? Nobody needs to know that. Nobody needs to know that. And there's a time when you and Colt were friends. What a dirty ass thing to do. My man went in on him, and then the Italian got one too.
Wait, save that. Save that to after this. That's gonna be the last point. Is the Natalia. You don't have any more about this, right?
No.
Then the Natalia point is gonna be last. But Bully Ray, this is my last point about this. Bully Ray said CM Punk put Tony Khan in a bad spot and buried Khan's decision making, saying Khan needs to get control of Punk, the Bucks, and Omega. In the latest edition of Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray discussed the backstage drama between CM Punk and the Elite. AEW led to altercation backstage. We know everything that happened, so let's get to this quote. On if CM Punk's sitting to talk about his issues with Coco Ban and AEW and all-out media scrum. Quote, you just defeated John Moxley for AEW World Heavyweight Championship in your hometown of Chicago, and a returning MJF comes out and stares you down for a monstrous ovation. The first thing you want to talk about is the dirt sheets talking about Coco Ban and yourself. You want to talk about the not the time and the place. If you go back and watch the video clips of the press conference, there's a certain angle of the camera is catching all of Tony Khan's reactions. That's what I'm saying. Look at his fucking face.
Yeah, man.
When Punk starts
bad for him.
When Punk starts burying Coco Cabana, you see the look at Tony's face like, why is he going in this direction? Why is he saying this stuff right now? Punk put Tony in a weird situation right there because Tony doesn't want to stop Punk from talking. He doesn't want to cut him off. He wants to show him respect, but Punk is going into business for himself and talking about Coco Cabana. Leaves Tony in a bad spot.
It does.
If CM Punk trashing Hangman and Buck and Kenny Omega there in the strong. Punk is so basically like, quote, Punk is basically saying Tony Khan has made a horrible choice in these EVPs because they aren't even qualified to run a Target, let alone a wrestling company. He's burying Khan's decision making right there. He's burying his fellow talent that he might have had to get in the ring with. He's burying the boys. Not only is he burying the boys directly, but the entire locker room hears this. I can assure you that the majority of the locker room is not happy Punk is burying Heyman Page in the EVPs. Quote, on how Tony Khan has to control the situation and can't let the wrestlers say and do whatever they want. Quote, if things get this bad, you pull the individuals into a room and you remind them, I'm the boss. I hired you. You do what I ask.
I hired your ass. I'll fire your ass.
I hired you. You need to do what I ask. I need you guys to either play nice, shake hands, never say a word about it to each other again, unless you clear it with me. Stop going into business for yourself. This is where the onus is on the boss. This is the top of the food chain type stuff. In wrestling, you can't let, yes, the wrestlers can't police each other. The boys can police the boys, but you can't let them just let them rampant and do or say anything that they want because it truly turns into wild, wild west. I've witnessed it with my own eyes. Paul Heyman sit down, big tough men, and tell them, you're going to do business this way, you're going to get out of here. I witnessed Vince do it. I've witnessed other people that Vince has put in charge do it, and the people who were put in charge are very well respected. Now, people who have been put in charge in AEW, some of the reason hiring that Tony has put in place, former wrestlers that are now in charge of a lot of different aspects of AEW, the people involved like Heyman Page and CM Punks and the Matt Jacksons, they are significantly higher ups, or more important than the people that Tony might put in charge. Thus, they can't sit these people down and tell them, you know what I'm saying, cool your shit. Basically.
All right. That
was my last thing on it. Go ahead.
That's my last one is on Natalia, which is funny. So, she had her assistant Bob supposedly take over her Twitter.
10.
And she put the post up of the Fatal 5-Way match with her, Sonya Deville, Ronda Rousey, Xia Li, and Lacey Evans. And this is Bob. Miss Neidhart hasn't sued anyone in this match, and she's also a locker room leader. For some weird reason, she was eating a muffin while she dictated this message to me. Bye. And then I get to the comment like, hi, Bob, what kind of muffin? Pumpkin spice, I hope. Also, you got to mention that tonight's victory be my 651st. No one could touch me. I'm the best of all time. Also, Bob, please stay the hell off my Twitter, please. So she basically taking like her little shot to him, like, cause like, you know, like everybody do say that Taz like a true locker room leader, like she's willing to go out there and like put people over and everything like that.
So what did she say again?
Oh, so she put a picture of the Fatal 5-Way match. It was her, Ronda Rousey, Lacey Evans, Xia Li, and Sonya Deville. And she had her assistant Bob take over her Twitter. And Bob said, by the way, Miss Neidhart has never sued any of these people after, in this match. She's a locker room leader, and she was eating a muffin while she was dictating this to me. And she gets back on, then she takes her like, oh yeah, what kind of muffin? It was pumpkin spice. Like this, and you got to mention that if I was to win this match, it'd be my 651st win of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. Nobody can touch me. Please stay the hell off my Twitter. Like that. like that. Are we done with this?
Yeah, we're done with that.
Any other news stories?
I got a couple news stories, two
I do
more,
too.
but not about that. Kevin Nash was talking shit about some of the booking recently. He said, quote,
You remember he talked shit about Adam Page being booked the way he got booked or something?
quote, they, AEW, wrote me in with the fucking CM Punk versus John Moxley. What they're fucking doing over there is this fucking thing which I hate, where they're booking for the smarts, and if you're gonna book for the smarts, and you already know there's no way CM Punk would kick with the foot that he's already injured to re-injure himself and then go down and cut the match short. That was all he really had to say about it.
All right, Johnny Gargano. Let's talk about some good stuff. Johnny Gargano, he's back. Talking about his decision on letting his contract expire. He said, I felt I made a decision I was going to let my contract expire a year before that. So it had nothing to do with me currently at the time. I fulfilled everything I did at NXT. And I'm very much a person that enjoys the place. I love working. I love NXT. I've been there for a long time. I love the office. I love the locker room. That was my whole NXT next run, so I'm always looking for that next mountain to climb. He said Candice Ray getting pregnant solidified his decision by saying, I don't know if I want to go there yet. He's talking about the main roster. And I was okay letting my contract expire. So it wasn't a fact, I think, so Candice Ray getting pregnant kind of, he said, obviously Candice getting pregnant, when she got pregnant, that solidified my decision. And he said if he got close to signing with another promotion, he said, obviously it crossed my mind, but at the point I wasn't ready to come back yet. I was enjoying myself. I have people that work around me. They go out and talk, go to other places. I have a great team around me that makes stuff happen. But me to have those discussions so I don't have to, because that's a big thing for me too. While I was gone, I was very focused on being a dad and letting the business stuff take place. Seth Rollins on Creative said that he's excited about Triple H taking over Creative. He had always great admiration for him. He's been a mentor of him since he's been for the company. He said what he's been doing is really awesome. He said he trusted Vince that well, but Triple H just a breath of fresh air. He said working with Vince was a double-edged sword. He said with Vince, it's a double-edged sword. Like, on one hand, you know exactly who to go to all the time. Everything need to get answered through Vince. When there's security in that, if you needed something, you need to answer to a promo, he was right there. You go to Vince. You'll either get a yes from him. That was real cool. If he did that, he understood your vision. On the other side of that, he was very flippant. He was always over the place. And to his credit, that's part of his genius, but it's very stressful as a talent. You got any more news stories before we go into
Got one more.
I do too.
The one I heard him talk about. Dan Bryan's getting a remix of his current music. Remember took that shot that came out was singing at AEW. Apparently he's gonna get a version with Fetty Wap and Mozzie. I just wanted to poke the bear with that like it was gonna be funny. My last story is about Mr. Omega himself talking to Sports Illustrated recently about Will Ospreay and some other things leading up to All Out. Quote, differences between him and Ospreay. Quote, we both look at the business in two very different ways. The way we go about our matches is different. Even what we want to leave behind in wrestling is different. We're both shooting to be the top performer wherever we go, but we go about it in very different ways. On what Ospreay is lacking in order to be a top star, quote, Will has his false sense of self. That's reinforced probably by some people in the wrestling media like Dave Meltzer, who believe overrates his matches just a little. Who I believe overrates his matches a little. I can take blame for that. I broke the scale. But since I broke the scale, the ratings have been all over the place. It's hard to make heads and tails of how good a match really is. And that's a creating
Meltzer sometimes he do the top like 5-6 star.
and that's creating a divide. The rating system used to be something that was prestigious. Now shall I be proud of a 4-star match or shall I be proud of a 5 or 6-star match? If Will gets something that's a 5, gets over a 5, and I didn't enjoy my experience watching a match, do I want a match like that? AEW Fight Forever video game, winning the best sports racing game at Gamescom. I was blown away by that. It was recognized as being fun. The people who left our booth were very entertained with the experience. That's what we're always seeking, and I think we gave a small taste of what making the games look fun. That makes me even more excited for more people start really seeing how crazy, kooky, and fun the game really is. On the progress of the game, I believe, quote, If people are concerned about the modes, I've heard some strange stuff like there's only singles matches, but I can happily say that that's not the case. We have tag matches, tag maneuvers, and the mechanics of those matches will feel very vastly different from the singles matches. You feel like you're in a tag match and you're working differently to have varied type of matches. The game isn't going to pull any punches. It's going to be physical, sometimes bloody, and we're going to be have a very high weapon count for everyone to have fun with. The hijinks outside the ring are a lot of fun, and there's still a career mode too. People have a blast with it. They talked about his comeback story, but I'll skip that. That's not really important. So we've been talking about this for almost an hour. To the point now my phone's dying. All right, and that's all my stories. If you have anything else, please go into it and then go right into Monday Night Raw.
Last one is we talk about this Velveteen Dream. So you get more into a little bit. So he was arrested last month. Well, this was for the first arrest. It's because he was arrested for punching a man in the face and then
I lied. I have one more story after this, but go ahead.
Then biting him. So apparently him and Ace still are two of the same kind of people. This happened around 8:40 at a club Orlando, which is a fitness facility. Cops and the doc said a senior employee at the gym told her the altercation between him and Velveteen Dream. He said that the wrestler had to leave an area that was closed for cleaning. Dream went off on him, becoming irate and argumentative. Dream got intense. The employee told Clark running past Clark he needed to leave the building. Clark then made a threat to kill the gym employee before he hit him in the face. They got into a fight. He bit him. They had to be separated by another employee. And they said that the officer observed that he left teeth marks near the employee's left chest near the armpit. Armpit. So the attorney in this case did follow written plea of not guilty in the first place. So that is it for Velveteen Dream. As we go into Monday Night Raw.
Whoa.
Oh, you said you had one more, right?
real quick.
Okay.
Last thing about any of this. So apparently after all this has happened, this is as of, this story comes as of yesterday. Reportedly, and I quote, AEW Young Bucks are reportedly seeking feelers in the WWE about their interest after AEW deal expires. After the fight happened All Out, it must have been a whole lot worse than fans initially thought. The Bucks are reaching out. But it also says, whoa, not too fast before we get too deep into the weeds of imagine the Bucks and WWE run would look like. It says, first, the Bucks probably won't be in WWE anytime soon. Forum user was asked about the interest via the Young Bucks reaching out to WWE. A post remembers something from David Meltzer reportedly saying in response, quote, they reached out to a talent and sent feelers about coming. I can't say that they talked to anyone direct in WWE, but that all would fall under tampering, and this came at the same time as legal letters were being sent out about tampering. Can't confirm they actually talked to people in WWE themselves, but they talked to other WWE talent about coming in, which they can do, much like WWE talent can send fillers through AEW talent, which has happened and happens on both sides. It is not something that they would have done anyway, since the deals were coming up at the end of 2024. You want to maximize your leverage when they come to getting a new deal and the companies into a bidding war. It's not necessarily a sign that they're going to leave. Everyone should do it. The hard thing for the wrestler contracts, and another reason that they really are independent contractors, is that they can't even negotiate new deals until their old ones are done. It's not like they have one deal end on December 31st and show up for new jobs on January 1st, unless they strike a deal in the first few hours of the first. But generally, the only way that happens is that if the indirect talks beforehand, much like in this situation. Wrestler contracts should really be more like NASCAR contracts. There was a situation where a couple months ago where a driver, Tyler Reddick, signed with a new team for 2024 and beyond, despite his contract with his current team ending in 2023. However, because he's an independent contractor, like all NASCAR drivers are classified, he's free to negotiate and start another job when his current job ends at any point. That was my last story of that. You can now get into Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna go get some water.
All right, cool.
Be right back.
Grab one of my NA drinks for me.
Heard.
Appreciate you, my good man. And when I say that, I accidentally hit NXT instead of Raw. Okay then. All right, let's start with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. Got done with the Clash of the Castle. Edge comes out here and start things off. He wants to talk about Dominic Mysterio. He said he watched the family grow up. Dominic's like family, and he's here to help Mysterio against Judgment Day. If you're doing it because of one accidental spirit, if so, I'm sorry. But what's going on with Dom? Ray's raised him better than that. And the Edge is a different beast entirely. Dominic, he's a man that need to come out here and pay a man's price. Ray comes out and said Edge is the Mysterio that he wanted. He called out Dominic to get Rhea Ripley instead. She said Edge and Ray think of Dominic like a little boy. She saw the potential to him and turned him into a man. Dominic comes out here with slick back black hair. Ray said he need to make things right. Rhea said Dominic's not listening to him no more. And Edge can't stop his judgment day. Ray said he can't be a part of this. He walks aside, but he starts to talk to Dominic. Dom don't even look at him, which leading to Eddie Sucks chant. Ray walks off, looks back at Edge, tell Dom to get in the ring. Out comes Balor and Priest, jumping from behind. Ray comes back, get taken out. Coup de ground to a chair. Priest put his arm around Dominic. We're seeing that join put his arm around Dominic, who seemed to be part of it. Miz and Ciampa arrived earlier with him not wanting to talk about Dexter Lumis being in the back of his car he left last week. MV asks how you doing. Miz says none of your business. They walk over and see a car turned upside down. Starting to get into a little bit more of some trouble here. Next match is a tag team the number one contender match between the New Day, Alpha Academy, Los Lotharios, and the Street Profits. I love this match. I don't know why the Viking Raiders wasn't in this match, seeing that they won last week on SmackDown. Digress though. Woods and Garza starts off, but of course Garza doesn't think he take off his pants. This is what I like. Garza tagged in Kofi, so the New Day has to face off. They try to go smart. Woods lay down real quick so Kofi can get the cover. It brings everybody in for the save. This leads to a brawl. Stereo running flips to take everybody out. Go to break. Forrest finds his way out of trouble. Dawkins comes in here, cleans house, hit that running flip that he always hit. Ford hits leaving Ford to have to flip out of the American automatic. Alpha Academy goes on top with Ford and Wood being slammed in different corners. Alberto misses a moonsault. Otis plans forward. Kofi makes the save. Ford throws Otis down but gets called by Los Lotharios. They get taken out. Appreciate it. Yep. Ford dives on the Otis, gets ankle locked by Gable in the process. It don't even matter because Braun Strowman is back. He comes through and wrecks everybody. Seen the Bill too when he tripped. When he was running around the ring, this shit was so funny. I like, damn, you pulled a Batista at Mania. Meanwhile, yeah, he stepped in the ring. I was like, hey, I seen that. Yeah, that shit was so funny. But again, Viking Raiders won this match, which I don't know why, because they won last week. Next, we got the bougie badass Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez versus Nikki Ass Fake and Doudrop. Not title match, by the way. Aaliyah tries to start this match off and try to go head to head with Doudrop. It don't work. Goes for running her and Karana. That don't work. Doudrop just swings into the turnbuckle. Damage Control is watching from backstage.
Hey, can I give you a quick sidebar? You said you needed Chris Godwin, right? You didn't start him, did you?
No, I said I'm going against Chris Godwin.
Oh, well, good news. He's hurt.
Oh, again? No, I'm not shocked.
But Tampa Bay is kicking Dallas' ass 19-3 right now, which isn't helping me at all.
Oh, that's good for me. How Fournette doing?
So go ahead. I'll tell you in a second. You keep going on the
run. Good for me. So Nikki takes Aaliyah down off the corner. Rodriguez had to make the save. Now Rodriguez come in. She cleans house. She can't power bomb Doudrop.
Godwin's ruled out for the second half. He has a groin pull after coming back from an ACL MCL tear, so he's out for at least this game.
Okay, nice. I'll get a win in one of my leagues. Yeah, good week. Browns, Guardians, Bubba Wallace, fantasy win.
19-3 in the fourth. They're not even trying. Go ahead.
Rodriguez tried to powerbomb Doudrop, but she can't do it. Everything breaks down. Aaliyah pulls Nikki ASA off the apron. Rodriguez hits the Tajana bomb and wins this match. The pin Doudrop at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Rem still said he need to talk to Dominic, but he never put his hands on his son no matter what judgment they want. So he'll fight any of them members one-on-one. Darius here. Here he said he's still the youngest money in the bank ever.
I took an L in the one league.
He said that he is still the youngest money in the bank ever, unlike everyone else.
In the Nuts League. Go ahead.
He keeps getting up after getting knocked down. by world champion boxer. He said he's happy Reigns is still the champion because they're gonna make history together. Out comes Kevin Owens, who said, "Oh, what's wrong with your jaw? Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot you got KO. Oh, you found your first name again too, by the way." By the way, I can't stand to lose no people. No one more delusional than you. What Fury did, you know what I'm saying, was a good thing because if you would have cashed in, McIntyre Reigns would have put you down. Then talking about how long it been since you won the title. Owens said, "Oh." He said, "Oh, well, how many times have McIntyre Reigns beaten you? And the only reason that you had a briefcase because I wasn't in a ladder match. This leads to a match between them. Theory instantly runs away once the match starts. Owens fighting back. He sends Theory to the announce table. They go to a chin lock. Then we go to a split screen, which we see Fury knocking out Theory again. Owens making his comeback. Swanton to the floor. Only to hit knees. Owens hit the Melrose Swanton. Gets knocked down again. Owens nails a super kick. Owens be sent to the outside. Theory sends him hard to the steps for a close 9 count. Take Owens back up top. Theory gets the swinging suplex, but that sets up the pop-up powerbomb and a stunner. KO gets the win at the 17-minute mark. Miz said he still don't want to talk about Dexter Lumis. Damage Control is here for a chat. Bailey talk about the win at Clash of the Castle. Sky's promised they're going to take the next tag team title next week because Kai wasn't legal last week. Bailey said she wants Bianca's title too. And she said, Bianca comes out and said, well, let's do it right now. She's like, no, because I'm not working on Labor Day. That's what we're celebrating. Like, really? She used Labor Day as an excuse not to fight somebody. Like, that's the first, I think, ever in wrestling history. Bailey, she said, I remember it took all 3 of y'all to beat me. I still had a title, so you aren't controlling nothing. Head to down to the ring. Rey Mysterio versus Damian Priest. That's to remember who we fight. Ray come out here like a bat out of hell. Hell had to instantly escape a stop of heaven. Big Boo dropped Ray. Ray now finally getting hammered away. Ray come back with a springboard. Ray drop kicks him to the floor as the rest of Judgment Day come out. Go to break. Ray find out of a chin lock, sending Priest outside for more kick. Ray hits a lion salt. Spinning DDT. 619 get countered as Priest kicks him in the face. South of heaven. Well, Ray tried to go for another 619, but Dominic cuts him off. South of heaven for the win. Post-match, Rhea Ripley said that Dominic will get rid of Edge next week. Strowman says he's nobody's safe. You see on SmackDown. Rollins said that he is proud that he won and he let real emotions get the best of him, and he's moving on to bigger and better things. This is our main event. I'll try to speed it up for you a little bit because I know you said your phone situation.
Oh no, you're fine. I moved to the laptop and plugged in. You're good.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Title match: Miz versus Bobby Lashley. Miz with Tommaso Ciampa. Yes, Tommaso Ciampa. He has his name back. And this is how it's still cage. Big man intro. Miz big just before the bell. They go outside to the floor. Lashley's being double teamed. Lashley's arm get crushed with the steps. We go to break. Another break. Miz covers for 2. Miz stomp away with them yes kick. Lashley gets pumped. It's a swinging net breaker a few times. Send Miz into the cage. Then has a spear that sends Mel Bell for the door, but Ciampa can't even help him. He sends Miz into the cage a few more times, but Miz goes for the bad arm. As Lashley goes for the hurt lock attempt. That's another send Lashley up the cage, but have Ciampa to swallow down with a chair. Miz is back with a running knee. Lashley is flying out of a crossface, takes Miz up top for a superplex. Miz avoids a spear that sends Lashley into the cage. Back up, Lashley goes for the door. We have to knock Ciampa down. Miz goes over to escape. And this is the part that was funny. Dexter Lumis crawled out from underneath the ring, and it scares Miz that he climbs back into the ring, right into a spear for the title. After that, Lumis climbs into the cage. Lashley shuts the door, and he basically just chokes out Miz and then just passes him like this. And pass him like that, and that is to end Monday Night Raw. Now we're going to NXT. We are done with Word Collide, which means we're about to start to build toward whatever happens next in NXT. Don't know when the next takeover pay-per-view is going to be. Tyler Bates start this off. He thanks the fans. He thanks for having the NXT UK back since the beginning. He thanks Baker for such a great match. Gallus comes down here and says, "You let the UK down. You're not the big strong boy anymore." This leads to a brawl before Brian Breaker runs out here for the save. Probably gonna lead to a tag match at the end of the night. Spoiler alert, it does. Pretty Deadly, yeah boys. Talk about winning the tag team title. It was so odd. They post a picture of them with the titles. They was in like bed next to each other eating strawberries. That shit was just so fucking odd. Yeah. Last Legend comes in and brags about him. Cora Jade interrupted Satomura and mocked her before a center match between them. Well, actually, that's not going to happen because she has a match against Roxanne Perez. Doudrop and Nikki ASA versus Toxic Attraction. Of course, this is from the fact that Toxic Attraction cost them their tag match last week. As basically starts off with Dolly to the corner, and then it's time to tag in Doudrop. Doudrop basically just does some power moves, tag back Nikki, who's driven to the wrong corner. So Jay, I like how they just pose when they beat you up. JC Jane's in trouble now. Net breaker. Nikki gets knocked off the apron with Doudrop. Doudrop as we go to break. Jane is in the front face lock. She takes ASH down. ASH fights up and gets over. Doudrop cleans house. Double backsplash. Jane has to stay down after a cannonball. Nikki ASH forearms her. Dallin goes up. Doudrop pulls her out of the air for a Mickey Mouse driver. Basement crossbody finish Gigi Dallin in a 10-minute match. Apollo Crews talks about Grayson Waller going for his life and said payback is coming. You get JD Madonna versus Wesley. Basically starts him down while they talk about Braun Strowman on Raw for some reason in the middle of this match. Lee kicks him away. He gets his neck snapped across the top rope. Lee is still fighting back. Rapid kick to the chest. Lee knocks him over the announce table. Goes for a Meteora. But after that, then he hits him with a knee. But after that, he pulls Lee into a suplex. He counters it to a sunset flip. JD kicks him in the face, and he finishes Lee at 9:35 in a minute. Tony Deadly are having a conversation when Pretty Deadly comes in to join them, and Tony D'Angelo said, "How much did it cost to get Damon Kemp to screw over Diamond Mine?" Prince burns his mouth on the coffee he'll drink before they say anything. Next we get to Meiko Satomura versus Roxanne Perez. Great match. It's funny because Perez actually legit looking nervous here. I don't know if that's for sure. Just the fact that she's 20 years old and she's in a ring with a legend. A legend. Takes over in the arm. Perez sends into the corner for a head scissors roll up. Satomura pulls her down to a choke, but Perez reversed that to an STF. Samora elbows her way out. Perez is sent to the outside, then hits a nice suicide dive. Satomura is pulling on both arms, but Perez fights out. Koji clutch is broken up. Satomura hits a running spin kick. Perez catches her with a super hurricane for two, and she kicks out with the shot kicked out face. Satomura has enough of this. Pele kick, Scorpion rising for the win at 11 minutes and 22 seconds. Great match right here. Nice run for Perez. The fact that she's 20 years old. Showing her respect. They show respect post-match. Cora Jade comes out here to stick it to Perez. Bate and Gallagher are talking about fighting Gallus. Damon Kemp talks about why. He explained how he tore Diamond Mine apart from the inside. He didn't like being left on the bench as a backup. He knew Roger Strong and Julius Creed were going to explode, so he stirred the pot. He took out Strong in the parking lot, caused Creed the tag match. He said more on this next time. Diaz trying to recruit Kiana James now, who basically brushes them out. Then she runs to Ariana Grace. I feel bad for Santino Morella's daughter. She has not won a match yet on NXT.
How long has she been up?
I mean, well, she hasn't been on TV that much, but when she has been on TV, she lost. I mean, James runs into her, who seems to be what James was looking for. Someone hugged the dyad after women were talking. Don't know who that was. Oh, God. You alright?
No, you're good. I'm just getting ready.
I thought you were about to just I was about to say, you about to blow up, go ham on the dyad. You can. No spam Joe Gacy this week neither. So I 2 back-to-back. What's the name about him? That's good. Trick wins versus Ricochet. So Ricochet's on NXT again. Hayes on commentary. Ricochet basically beats him with a recoil to a shooting star press. And as he hits the shooting star press, he mean mugging Hayes as he pins his boy in like 5 minutes. Trick Williams got some offense in, but this was quick and it's basically just like they're probably going to set up a rematch between them two. Tony D'Angelo and Stacks are having coffee when Cameron Grimes walks up. Cameron Grimes said, "Y'all just like Joe Gacy." Y'all don't see him, but they still mention his name. D'Angelo throws an insult and said, "Anyone who throws the coffee earns them." D'Angelo throws an insult, so Grimes throws the coffee at him, and then he basically gets put through a table. Vignette for Solo Rico, the surfer, coming. Dynamite said they're ready to break Damon Cap. Plus Pretty Deadly next week. Julian Creed again said it's on site when I see you. See you. Their first best out of 3 series. Risk Control to start up. This is Axon and Nathan Frazier, by the way. Frazier drop kick him to the floor. They go to break. Axon sends him to the floor with suicide dive. Frazier's starting to fight back. He hits like this AJ style looking moonsault to a reverse DDT. Then hits a sling blade. Shooting star press. Axon pulls him to the triangle choke. Frazier makes the rope. Puts him in the half crab. Followed by a throwback move. The House of Pain. By Charlie Haas. This sends Axon to the rope. Axon hits a jumping kick for the pin at the 12-minute mark. Super Diva Quincy Elliott will be on NXT next week.
Who?
The dude that's on NXT Level Up that we talked about.
His name is Super Diva?
His name is the Super Diva.
Okay.
I know. We get Gallus versus Tyler Bate, Braun Breaker. Mark Coffey is here with Gallus. Breaker head live Coffey to start the match, takes him down. Bate comes in. Joe gets a tag on Mark, double suplex. Old school Steiner pose. Bate hits a dive onto the floor. Wolfgang leads a distraction. Back in, rib work again. Forearm grab, chin lock. Mark grabs a bear hug. Bate slips out, goes through the leg slip, the hot tag. Breaker comes in here. Spine buster. Steiner bulldog. Gallagher goes for the all the best for the bells, but he get cut off with a spear. And then Tyler Driver finishes Mark Coffey off at the 11-minute mark to Tyler Driver 97. 7. They go to celebrate, but JD comes in here and basically takes them both out, including beating the holy shit out of Tyler Bate. So that might be Tyler Bate's next first big feud on NXT, and that's the end of NXT, and that is the end of my shows for the week.
Alrighty.
I got to drink this energy drink because I thought that's really needed.
So, Dynamite starts off with Tony Khan coming out, and he...
By the way, I love this Dynamite, despite the fact that everything that went on with how he handled this Dynamite perfectly, I believe.
He makes the first appearance of the show, and he comes out and said both the world titles and trios are vacated. He didn't say why, he just said they were. The trios match, the trios titles will be crowned tonight with new champions, with the match between the best friends, the Death Triangle, and then the world title tournament has been announced, with the finals being at Grand Slam on September 21st. Your first round buys are Moxley and Jericho. Then you have Hangman Page with Dan Bryanson, which happens tonight. Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin, which happens on Rampage. And then you'll get your winner out of those. Moving on, first person out with his promo, MJF, coming out with a Buffalo Bills jersey on, hyping the crowd up, saying he's so happy the people see the people and they're happy to see him. He said, and he meant most of what he said last time he was on Dynamite. He started to give the fans an apology for calling them super marks and that honey in the front row that can hit me up after the show. The world title has been vacated, so the Tournament of Champions is coming. Is coming to crown a new world champion. There's one person who deserves to be champion, but he is willing to work smart instead of work hard. He said, "That's me." He said, "What we need right now is a leader," and he began to tell the story of Moses. But since MJF is better than Moses, he's basically saying, like, why should I go ahead and be in the title tournament when I have a chip that gives me an automatic shot at the belt? Q John Moxley in the wrestling coming through the crowd. He gets in the ring and says MJF is full of it. And Jeff turns in the crowd and says he hates Buffalo fans and starts why he rips off the he had on a Josh Allen jersey and earlier in the show he's like, I love Josh Allen. And he starts wiping his ass with the Josh Allen jersey before he throws it into the crowd, which is hilarious. He talks about the only time worth anything in wrestling is Johnny Old Saint Nick, and he references the bidding war of 2024 about, basically when his contract's up. His all-time favorite wrestler of the game said that MJF as being world champion is best for business. Moxley says MJF needs to be out of the ring right now. MJF starts taking his shirt off like he's gonna do something. He bails away anyway. Anybody's going away. Moxley says your music sucks. Moxley says he wants to get a title back and it's time for someone to take the shot. He needs to be the best and he's taking that shot because it's time to be a legend. I'm basically paraphrasing what he was saying there. Then we have your trios match. Best Friends versus Death Triangle for the vacant trios titles. Danhausen and Alex Abrahantes are here too. Pac Orange Cassidy start things off, but Pac isn't down for that. Instead, Penta comes in for the pose off until Cassidy snaps off a head scissors. Everything breaks down. Death Triangle sent it outside for the big flip dive. You take a break and come back in with Cassidy in trouble, but they head to the outside for Danhausen versus Abrahantes. Cursing ensues, so Danhausen tries the same on Pac, earning himself a kick to the face. Back in, hot tags bring in Pac and to clean house, but Trent gets in the shot of his own. Soul Food half Nelson suplex drops Phoenix and we get the big hug. Back up, Phoenix fires off with kicks, but Death Triangle has to super kick him out of the crunchy. Orange Punch knocks Kenta into the crunchy for 2 with Pac making the save. An assistant destroyer drops Trent and a spike fear factor hits Taylor. Instead of covering Pac, dives into the other 2 men, leaving Pac to hit. Leaving Penta to dive outside to hit the other 2 men, leaving Pac inside at the Black Arrow for the pin and the trios title, making Pac a double champion right now and putting belts back on the Lucha Brothers. So congratulations to them. The Dark Order is having a promo where they're interrupted by Jose the assistant, who comes in and says, look, I have a contract for you, 10. Andrade wants you to work for him right now. He's cut off by Evil Uno saying, I don't want your money. He doesn't either. Dark Order isn't to be bought. El Idolo comes in. John Silver isn't having any of it. And he says, look, bro, your last name is the assistant. I'm like, get away from me. Andrade and Roos come up threatening to fight. 10 seemingly seems to be kind of interested, so we'll see where that goes. They show a video recapping what happened after the interim world title match with Britt Baker costing Jamie Hayter the title. Jamie Hayter refuses to talk to Britt Baker as she's walking out with her luggage. Britt trying to talk to her and then face palming a camera to get out of the way. Like, you guys get out of here. Next up, women's title match, 9 o'clock. Good. Andy gave him about 5 minutes or so here for Toni Storm to retain her title over Penelope, who came out with box on his head. Kip Sabian, her husband. This is a non-title match. Storm takes her down with the head scissors to start, but gets knocked to the corner. Running hip attack misses, but 4 bails to the floor, which she sends Storm into the steps. Take a break, back and break with Storm, knocking her into the corner and hitting a hip attack. Jumping DDT finishes forward at 5 minutes 53 seconds. Angelo Parker and Money Matt Menard yelling about Axel Bronson interfering in Hook's match, so hopefully it's leading to a match where he's either in the corner of Hook or involved as a tag team, and says he'll be at Grand Slam. So maybe this is where this gets finishes up later down the line. Here are the Acclaim, who come out to start the rap, but before they can get words out, they're cut off by Swerve Strickland, and he says he has a joke for them. The Acclaim as AEW Tag Champions. Ha ha ha. Billy Gunn cut them off and said that this isn't Swerve's house anymore. Seeming this the fans seem to be saying now. Anthony Bowen says the rematch in 2 weeks in New York, and they're going to take home the gold because everyone loves the Acclaimed. Jericho talks about finding a fountain of youth and drinking it in, man. After beating Daniel Bryan, he says he feels he's the greatest wrestler in history. This company is his and the championship is, and no one will take it away from him ever. After Friday, Sammy Guevara is ready to beat Darby Allin and Daniel Garcia winning the Ring of Honor Per Championship tonight. Sammy didn't hear any of this because he was too busy admiring his and Jericho's abs. This leads to my... Whenever Clint gets back in, he can say his part, but... Fuck Tony Schiavone for having to put up with this bullshit in the middle of trying to have a serious interview while they're just looking at each other's abs with Anna Jay standing there anti-mellow. Next up, Wardlow taking on Tony Nese in a squash match of the night. Nese with Mark Sterling is challenging a headbutt. Larry set a 3 powerbomb symphony to retain the title of the minute and 30 seconds. Squash match. Post match, Wardlow looking for a powerbomb on Josh Sterling before on Mark Sterling before Josh Woods makes the save. Wardlow gets on the mic, so he's tired of hearing about how he's being misused in this company and how he's lost his momentum, and this is still Wardlow's world. Next up is a video previewing the other World Championship title match that'll be happening on Rampage between Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara. Darby talking about how they've been competing since AEW started. This will be the 4th match between them, actually. And he'll throw in a bonus, no sting when they fight on Rampage. Tournament champions, first round, Daniel Bryanson. Speaking of the title tournament, Bryan Danielson, taking on Hangman Adam Page for their 3rd match. Regal on commentary, filling out process starts with Danielson grabbing a headlock for no avail. Drops his Danielson to the outside, but he's right back in for a takedown into a double knee stop. Danielson kicks away in the corner, but gets sent to the outside. It doesn't go well for Page, who was sent shoulder first into the post. We take a break. Back with Danielson's chopping away, getting caught and falling away, slammed to the floor. Danielson gets back in and walks into a Death Valley drive for 2, but Danielson takes him down for 2 of his own. Page is sent to the apron. We take a break, come back from break. Page hitting and set out powerbomb for 2, but Danielson ties him to a tree of woe and some kicks to the chest. A belly to back suplex is broken up, so Page hits a discus lariat for 2. This match went about 22 minutes, so about to finish up right here. Danielson pulls him into the bell lock, but Page slips out again. Back up, Danielson takes him down. Tries another lapel lock, which gets escaped as well. Danielson charges in 2 for a dead eye for a very close 2 count, but Page misses the moonsault. Danielson's running knee connects, sends Page to the outside where a suicide dive is counted into a powerbomb on the apron. Page hits a moonsault onto the floor, but the buckshot lariat is counted into a bridging or counter roll for the pin at 22 minutes and 50 seconds. Great match. Love the finish. It seemed like more of he pulled it out more than Page would necessarily beat. I felt like it was a very even contest. And can see them competing again eventually in the future, whether it be a title on the line or not. Next up is a promo by Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Says he's ready to take out Christian Cage. After Luchasaurus, it was appropriate that Luchasaurus carried him to the ring for so many years because he carried his entire career. He says, all out, it felt like an anchor would be taken off me, and I've never been happier. Stokely Hathaway coming down to the ring. Coming out with his crew for a chat, but go ahead. You gotta say your part from Bucks Country Ronnie, right?
Skip on. I heard y'all in the hallway. Tony. All right, go ahead.
Stokely Hathaway coming out with his crew for a chat, but they're told they're out of time by some backstage guy. Anthony Hathaway grabbed some random guy. He grabbed the production guy by the throat. He said he demands more respect on his mic than he does. He get more respect on his microphone than he gives his own father. Then drops him with the microphone shot, and then they said they grabbed the guy and sent him into a big boot from W. Morrissey. What'd you say about Cornette?
Oh, I said good shit. Fournette got over 100 yards. That's bonus points.
Oh, Fournette did? Oh, well, good for you, because I'm pretty sure Dak Prescott didn't do a goddamn thing. He scored 3 points.
Nope, still got 3 points.
Carlo Castagnoli.
Win now.
Claudio Castagnoli and Dax Harwood cut a promo on each other, previewing basically their match they're going to have coming up on Rampage on Friday. Now we're here for the main event. Ring of Honor Pure Title Championship on the line. Daniel Garcia taking on Willard Yuta. Daniel Garcia was serenaded to the ring by Westside Gunn, a Buffalo native just like him, which is awesome. We got Regal on commentary.
Like always.
For this one. My notes for this one is short, but this match went about 16 minutes. It gave him some good time. Garcia is challenging and gets wrapped to the ring. Filling out process starts. They get fighting over a lockup before falling to the outside. We take a break. Come back with Garcia coming up with an exchange of chops with Yuta hitting a snap suplex. Garcia snaps off some suplexes and a running shot to the face gets a 2 count. Back up, Yuta grabs some rolling suplexes. Only have Garcia come back with his own. They trade German suplexes until Garcia hits a middle ropes release German suplex with Yuta landing on the back of his head as they take a break. Back up, Garcia winning a slap off and putting on the Dragon Slayer. With that broken up, Garcia does it again and brings back even more on it. Then he starts grabbing at the head as he does it like the STF. Yuta taps. 16-minute mark. Now My only issue with this is that they didn't carry the normal pure wrestling championship match rules, where I thought it was 2 out of 3 counts for all the match. 2 out of 3 for every match they had for the pure championship. The last time they fought for the pure championship, it was 2 out of 3 falls. So they didn't do that this time, which was a straight one-on-one match. But they did have, if it ended up going to a draw, they had the judges to the outside who would have gave you the decision on the match. So that was pretty awesome there too. Post match, Brian Danielson, keep doing that, comes out at the quarter honor is adhered. With you to try to shake his hand, but then brushes it off and just walks away. Not like he was salty, but just like, no, take your moment, bro. You're good. I don't want that. As Danielson puts the title around Garcia's waist, Jericho comes out on the entrance ramp, pissed off, trying to still find out if he's a sports entertainer or not. And that was the end of Dynamite. And since we're rolling AEW, let's get it all off the way, man. Oh no, here we go. I think I'm good. Okay, yeah. All right, good. Yeah, since we're rolling AEW, let's keep it going, man. And we're gonna get into SmackDown last. Continuing with our coverage here of our final 2 shows of the week before we get out of here for the night. It's been a long one for us. Also, that
got hurt. Sorry.
No.
Hurt his hand.
Great. Another one off years for him.
It's dumb.
All righty. Well, I'm glad I went and picked up a quarterback, or I think I did. If not, I'll get somebody. Anyway.
Struck his hand on the helmet.
So, Rampage started off with a tournament champions first round match. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. Ty Mello out here with Guevara filling out process. Starts a trade headlock until Allin backslides him for 2. Gory stretch into a Fujiwara armbar brings Guevara in trouble, but he blocked the charge in the corner. Guevara superplexes him into 2 amigos, but Allin reverses the third one into a crash over the top where Allin suplexes them onto the floor for a bonus. Mello cuts off the dive before Allin tries it anyway, only can pull it out in midair with a cutter to the floor if we take a break. Back from break. Match goes about 11 minutes, by the way. Back from break, Guevara hits a knee to the face. Jericho talks about the chemistry these two have in the ring because he's on commentary, as usually is for Rampage. Guevara misses shooting star press and gets caught with the cold red for 2. Mello offers another distraction, though, allowing Guevara to kick Allin in the face. Always confident, Guevara kisses Mello, allowing Allin to hit him with a big flipping suicide dive. Back in, Allin rips off of Guevara's wedding ring, which is enough to make Mello get on the apron. Guevara knocked Allin down, takes him back into the ring, setting up for
They ripped off the wedding ring?
Ripped off the ring, man.
Ooh.
Setting up.
Put tape around that thing like Uso do.
Or just don't wear it to ring.
Jimmy wear his to the ring. Sure, I know he do.
Setting up an insecurity in the corner. A double springboard cutter gives Guevara 2, but he misses his own coffin drop. Q and a J, so Mello can throw in the skateboard. Guevara power bombs him on the skateboard with the truck side up. If you're on the truck side, that's the wheel side up to his back, setting up the GTH finish on Allin. Sammy Guevara moves on. They do a replay of MJF's return on Dynamite and then showdown with Moxley. Next, Samoa Joe comes out for a chat. He has been around for a while, owes people a lot more violence. He's open for business here. All of a sudden, he's interrupted by Mark Sterling with Josh Woods and Tony Nese. Starting thinks Woods should get a TV shot, and Joe says, sure. He said, before we do the paperwork on that, we'll do that next week in a real city like Albany. Miro's mad at not being in a tournament for the championship because it's flawless. I agree. I'd have rather seen Miro in that tournament than Sammy Guevara or Darby Allin again, personally. But I guess they went by the rankings or whatever, I'm assuming. Though those kind of weren't brought into it. This is what the match was. I thought would have been a great match on paper, and I just wanted it to get more time than it got. But I understand it was on Rampage, so you try to squeeze as much in Rampage as possible, which means it wasn't gonna get a lot of time. Anyway, Madison Rayne versus Serena Deeb. We know how much I love Serena Deeb. I've forgotten Rayne almost worked here recently because she doesn't get but only so many matches, but she works a lot backstage, I'm assuming. Also, filling out process starts with Deeb not being able to hit the Deeb tox on Rayne as she rolls over it for a close 2. Back up, Deeb shoves her down and starts hammering away. Deeb gets annoyed at being rolled up, so she goes after the knee and it's a running lock on Rayne for the tap out at 3 minutes 58 seconds. Next up, Jade Cargill and the baddies aren't surprised they beat Athena, so she might as well be 50 Powerhouse Hobbs is ready to hurt even more people when Regal comes out on commentary before we get to our main event. He talked about hiring Dax Harwood out of obscurity, but now Regal was in Claudio Castagnoli's corner. Castagnoli is ready to face Harwood, who will win something on his own one day, but it won't be tonight. Harwood said this is how he feeds his family, so top guy's out. Basically said, you beating me, taking food out of my mouth. I love how he associates losing matches with taking food out of his mouth.
I love that too. Hey, because when you win, you get more money.
That's true. I
It leads
understand
you
that.
up to what's the name? Yeah.
I think you both get paid, but at the same time, I understand it. So this is where I meant, like, you could have gave the ladies more time, bro. They got 3 minutes and 58 seconds, but you gave the main event, though it is a title match, 20 minutes on a Rampage. We couldn't cut that down to, like, maybe say 13 or 14 and still got the same point across, and gave them at least 3-4 more minutes. I mean, shit. Anyway, Ring of Honor World Title match: Dax Harwood versus Claudio Castagnoli. Harwood, I'm not going to say that though. That one I think it's annoying. Harwood is challenging William Regal here with the champ filling out prize to talk to Harwood. Leapfrog pulled out of the air, but he grasped for a roll up and for 2 each. Back up, Castagnoli fires off some uppercuts to take over, so Harwood suplex both of them over the top rope and out to the floor. Take a break and come back with Castagnoli winning a slug out and putting on an abdominal stretch. With that broken up, Castagnoli puts him on top but gets chopped backwards, setting a swan dive from Harwood. JR goes into a funny rant about how you're an idiot if you aren't doing this for the money, as Harwood backdrops his way out of the neutralizer. Harwood grabs a power driver for 2 and goes up top, only gets suplexed back down. We take another break and come back again with Harwood getting 2 off of the backslide. So Castagnoli kicks him in the face. Slingshot set out powerbomb, gets Harwood 2 more, but Castagnoli puts him right back on top. A belly to back suplex is countered into a crossbody for 2 more, plus a big crash. Another slug it out segment. Goes to Castagnoli and his giant swing into a sharpshooter. With that almost broken up, Castagnoli tries to crossface but gets reversed into a sharpshooter of his own. That breaks down. Castagnoli drives for some hammering elbows, setting up the sharpshooter and making Harwood tap at 20 minutes into the match. At the end of the show respect for each other. And it seemed like, though that was an hour, there was a lot of shit that went into that. There was only 3 matches on that entire show. And that's another reason why, if it was only 3 matches, you could have gave them 2 ladies more time than they
What the
got.
ladies match again?
The Madison Rain versus Serena Deeb. But it was still, I felt like it was a good Rampage, though, regardless. And that's in the Rampage. And we're on to our last show of the night, so we can get the fuck out of here. And I'll try to speed through this
Oh,
one.
yeah, SmackDown last.
Yep,
Huh?
yep. Last WWE show of the week. Let's try to hurry up and get out of this one as quick as possible.
Damn, SmackDown that bad?
No, it's not that. SmackDown was okay. I'm not saying that about SmackDown. I'm just saying it's
I'm just messing with you, man.
it's over 11. We want to get in and get out. Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
You know whose fault this is? This is your fault, CM Punk. I blame you, okay? Your fault. God damn it.
I blame him too. We wouldn't have did all this extra shit. We wouldn't have had all this extra shit to talk about.
Exactly.
Did you know the Rams would have went after Jimmy Garoppolo if he didn't end up getting cut?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
Alrighty. So going into... Sorry, I lost it. My bad. 1 second. Excuse me. TV reports. What I want.
I lost in the DA league.
Don't feel bad. I lost in the Netflix league like a motherfucker.
No, I know I lost. There ain't no way in hell Jerry Jr. gave me like 340 points. He gotta have like a Calvin Johnson 280 day.
That'd be awesome.
And a couple long bombs.
It's not gonna happen because of Cortland Sutton. Alright, so we open up with a look at Solar Skull costing Drew McIntyre the world title next last at the champions. We open with the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kaiser knocks Holland in the corner and starts off with Vinci, who gets elbowed in the face a lot. Butch works Vinci's fingers before Gunther comes in with a big chop. We take a break, come back for break with Holland. Being taken into the corner by Vinci so he can come up for a suplex. Gunther comes in for some chops, but Holland busts Vinci's spine, allowing the tag to Butch. Everything breaks down, and it's Gunther versus Sheamus on the floor, which is broken up rather quickly. Back in, Vinci pulls bitch. Butch into the corner, hard clothesline, and sends us to another break. We come back. I didn't mean to say it.
I know it's just funny. It's like that with the Nancy Arcade. I don't know something with you and bitch. It's just like it just flips out. You say it the wrong time.
We come back again with Butch finding out that Gunther's Boston Crab and not being able to make a tag. Gunther and Sheamus have to stare at him
Was he in
again.
his Pete Dunne gear?
I believe so.
Okay.
Butch gets the shot in of his own and then allowing the tag to Sheamus to happen. Vinci and Kaiser are taken down, setting up the 25 forearms to the chest and then related areas to Kaiser. The Irish Curse, the Bro Kick hit Vinci, who is in legal, allowing Kaiser to grab a roll up for 2. This match went longer than I thought it should have to be a tag match. It went about 19 minutes. Holland back in for a big lead, and Kaiser, but Gunther chops him in the back of his head. Sheamus and Gunther get into a big fight, and the fans are really happy. Everything breaks down once again. You get a triple fight until Holland suplexes Kaiser down hard, with Kaiser landing on his knees. Needs to find enough to hit a European bomb to finish Holland off with 19 minutes. They give condolences to the Queen, who passed earlier this week. Usos and Sami Zayn are here for a chat. Sammy is rather fired up to be here, and Jimmy's pleased too. Jay just glares. Jimmy talks about how deep the bloodline runs and introduces Solo Sikoa with a highlight package of his time at NXT. Solo says that if you create problems, he'll finish them, and that he's here to stay. Drew McIntyre clears the ring with Sammy taking the shot for Solo Sikoa. Next up, your new favorite women's tag team in the WWE.
Is my new favorite?
Named the Bougie Badasses.
Oh, God.
They're taking on Toxic Attraction in a non-title match. Toxic Attraction praises
Girls right
Rodriguez
there.
on the raid to the ring with JC Jane saying, Aaliyah, you're pretty. Jane kicks Rodriguez in the wrist to
So
start.
what?
They were giving props to Rodriguez, but didn't have anything to say about Aaliyah because she's a bad wrestler. And they're like, well, she's pretty.
Damn. Fucked up.
Jane starts.
Butcher.
Jane kicks Rodriguez in the ribs to start, but Rodriguez takes over without much trouble. Aaliyah comes in and gets thrown down to Dolan for 2, but gets pulled to the corner, so the double teaming can begin. A running backsplash hit for Aaliyah for 2, and Jane cranks on both arms. Aaliyah ducks a clothesline though and rolls over for the hot tag to Rodriguez. A spinning side, so I know, right? A spinning side.
Fail for every time hot tag gets mentioned.
A spinning side slam drops Dolan, and the twisting Vader bomb. Elbow gets 2. Aaliyah breaks with a double suplex. Tahana bomb finishes Jason Jane at about 4 minutes 58 seconds. Get a recap of Adam Pearce snapping on Ronda Rousey last week, with Rousey ripping his arm apart as a result. Next year, Xia Li versus Natalya versus Sonya Deville versus Lacey Evans versus Ronda Rousey. I think that's what you were mentioning about in her Twitter feud about
Yes.
her Twitter post about CM Punk.
And she was eating a muffin while Bob was writing that. Bob wrote this. Remember, it was Bob.
Now I told you the main event, the opening match went 19 minutes, right? You know I love pointing this shit out with WWE, right? Get ready.
Oh,
All
this match.
right, this match in total, and it was 3 separate matches in one, basically with all the pins. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on, doing quick math. 339.
You got a calculator. What is the
340,
calculator?
510, or 410. This match went 8 minutes and 10 seconds for all the pins to happen. Elimination rules for Extreme Rules title shot at Liv Morgan, who's watching the skybox. Everyone goes at the Rousey to start until Natalya tries the sharpshooter on Lee. That's broken up as Rousey armbars Natalya, taps her out in 1 minute 19 seconds. Lee breaks up Rousey's armbar to Evans. Evans has to do the same for Evans. The Village back up. They choke Lee out. Rousey armbars Evans into the stereo elimination, so she basically tapped out 2 people at the same time. At 2 minutes and 20 seconds, that leaves Deville versus Rousey, with Rousey taking her down, hammering away. Piper's Pit counter into a choke, and they crash to the floor, but they're right back in. Piper's Pit hits Deville, then an ankle lock with the grapevine finishes Deville at 4 minutes 31 seconds. So Rousey dominating, basically. Moving on from there, Usos are fired up. That's Solo Sikoa. And when Sami Zayn and the Russ for a stare down, Solo thanks them for the help out there, and they says Roman's endorsement as proof of Sammy's status. Jay still isn't convinced and says Solo needs to do his thing tonight. Sammy is ready to go, but Jay says everyone is going out there. Shayna Baszler tells Ronda Rousey to take out Liv. That seems to work for Rousey, who seems to think she can do what Baszler couldn't. Next up, got your boys, Maximum Male Models and the Los Lotharios taking on Hit Row and the Street Profits. This, you could basically call this match "Why'd you spray paint my butt while we were having a weed session?" Inside of it, Mansoor gets in trouble to start, and the good guys chase everyone else off the apron, and we take a break. Back with the Adonis in trouble, but Humberto accidentally takes Angel out. Hot tag, ding, brings in Dawkins to clear house as everything breaks down. Humberto breaks up the big dive so Dawkins can backdrop into the floor. Dawkins hits his own big dive from Top Dollar. Loads up his own, only to have Maxine break it up. B-Fab isn't having any of that, and the brawl is on, leaving Mace to take the heavy hitter for the pin at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Masa. Sorry. Mansoir and Mesa. Next up, Alpha Academy. Shoes, please. Out to have a chat. We're here to hear about how great the team is, and the catchphrase is demonstrated before Chad talks about how annoyed he is at the returning Braun Strowman. More bragging and threats ensue until Strowman storms to the ring and wrecks them both, including powerbombing Otis. Drew McIntyre says Clash of the Capital should have been a great moment. Greatest moment of his life, but it wasn't because of Solo Sikoa. And now it's time to face the consequences, and Sikoa isn't going to like them. This brings up our main event of the evening in the show. Finally, yay! Damn CM Punk. Make our show so fucking long today. Anyway, Uso, Sami Zayn are here too. McIntyre starts off fast, knocks Sikoa around without much trouble. The Future Shock connects early. Sikoa bails to the outside for a meeting. We take a break, come back from break with Sikoa holding a nerve. McIntyre fights up, but he's knocked down into the corner for a running Umaga attack. Back up. McIntyre getting to elbow to the face, but has to gets the elbow to the face, but has to drop the Usos. Sami breaks up the big flip dive and a distraction. Lets Sikoa hit a super kick for 2. McIntyre is sent to the outside for the beating from the Usos, but the Street Profits run in for the save. That means you're going to have a 3-on-3 next week, player. 4 hits a big dive, leaving McIntyre to Claymore Sikoa to the floor. The dive is loaded up again. Cross comes in for the cross jacket choke on McIntyre for the DQ at 10 minutes and 30 seconds, setting up their feud next. After we saw him in the main event, the Clash of the Castle throwing the cup at Drew. And that is the end of SmackDown and the end of our show here. As I got to climb to the other side to close it down. So let's talk about, carry it for a little bit. Talk about some CM Punk and what you see going forward moving right quick.
Oh, well.
While I jump to the other side.
Well, one, let's be honest. I mean, the fact that they can use the injury to not suspend CM Punk. That's the one thing. 2, you got to repair your locker room. Like, your locker room is, not only, as I said, mentioned, not only is this locker room in damage, you got issues in your women's locker room, too. So you got issues all over. And obviously, the issue in the women's locker room, obviously, is just one person, that's Thunder Rosa. A lot of the women felt that this was their beef with Thunder Rosa. A lot of them felt like you were willing to drop the belt to Toni Storm, who was like a newcomer, but you wouldn't drop it to none of the other women there though. So that's some of their issues they have with Thunder Rosa. Also the fact that they say she works stiff, she don't really care about people and everything like that. But I want to see how the backstage atmosphere is the last couple weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing like reports and hearing stuff about, did the locker room heal? Did the locker room get better? I mean, it's all good that you have these meetings telling people keep personal stuff inside, but at the same time, no, not every superstar gonna do that. You always have one mole or one leak in every corporation or business, especially big business like this. A lot of these people got friends that do like media and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing. That's a good job with Dynamite without mentioning the trios or without mentioning Punk, without mentioning the Elite. Good job with that. Keep it up, and let's see how your locker room heal for this. That's the main thing to me. Like, you gotta heal your locker room. Like, and you gotta do something too, because from all these stories and people's reaction, you gotta look like a bitch and you own the company. Like, that means the next time somebody do something out of line, this what I hate. I hate when people do this. Cause he got look like a bitch. I feel like if somebody do something out of line, I feel like he gonna go overboard with his punishment. He try to prove like I still run this I'm the owner it's coming with. I feel like, and then that won't help. You gotta toe the line, Tony Khan gotta toe the line. I mean, hell, get some help from your daddy. He keep talking about moving Jacksonville to different cities, and he toe the line good enough to where the Jacksonville people still like him. So, toe the line, do something. But, well, that don't wish AEW the best. I love the wrestling competition. So, not even competition, I just love wrestling in general. Like I said, one more thing, too.
What up?
I don't watch AEW just for the elite and for CM Punk. I watch it for everybody there on the card. So the show to me was good because you can still run it without the elite and CM Punk there. MJF is gonna be the big key to this. He's gonna have to take this thing, him and Moxie is. And I trust them to do it right. They still the EVPs. They still got their say input stuff. So we'll see how they'll go.
With that being said, we're getting out of here for the night. I'm one half your host, Rob.
I'm Clint.
We're letting Ron take us home.
Damn, CM Punk.
No D with the rain.